Hey guys, hope everybody's doing fantastic. I apologize for that delay. Dark Gravity and I are here. I had actually dozed off. I almost pulled a coal and slept through it, but I'm glad to see you guys. Blade Ogre, channel member, Pretty Fly for a Knife Guy, channel member, Mark Herrera, Bama Ninja, channel member, our brother Dark Gravity, Pretty Fly for a Knife Guy, channel member, Sweet, Forrest SLR. God, I hope he's around. Crispy Critter, channel member. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I was late. We will make up for it. We will make up for it. So, how's everybody doing? How are you doing, Dark Gravity?
I'm good.
Awesome, brother. It's good to see you, man. Did you have a good week? Taking it a little less easy than normal?
Yeah, I've been all over the place, going to thrift stores and all that kind of stuff.
Twang Thang. Joe Isabella, channel member, Twang Thang. Good to see you guys. Man, I'm sorry I made y'all wait. So, have you found any good stuff this week?
I mean, to me, it's good stuff. I mean, most of the folks on here probably don't want to hear nothing about it because they're here for knives. They're not here for,
What'd you
you know,
carry today, brother? I had a weird carry today.
well, I've actually kind of changed a few times today because I've been doing work and doing stuff for my wife on top of everything. But right now, I've got the Chavez in my pocket. Earlier, I don't even remember what I had in my pocket when I first started working for her today, and then I carried the Bird Blades Iron Wolf for a little while today. Uh, Shit, that bugs the hell out of me now. I don't even remember what I had first thing this morning. We've
That's a
been
good
getting
problem to have.
we've been getting the swimming pool ready, and so um, doing this, that, and the other, and so I didn't get pool chemicals on me. I was wearing something different this morning than what I'm wearing now,
Dan B,
and
howdy, brother.
just can't keep up with what's going on.
Cool. Yeah, I carried Forrest. Welcome, dude. Thank you. New member, El Cap Addict. How are you? Channel member. Sharp Guy ATX, my man. Channel member. I carried the Medford MIDI Marauder, not the Slim MIDI, the Thickie. And I also carried, instead of a fixed blade, I kind of fell off the deep end last week, guys, but you know what that is?
That's a little hedgehog.
It's a slip joint, man. Yep, it's a hedgehog. So I carried that little guy too. You can tell I've been gooing on it, cutting on it. But I enjoy this little thing. I've had a good time with it. So that's what I carried today.
I
What you
mean,
guys, everybody carry here? Howdy, D Metal, channel member. Welcome, brother.
I've got
What's up?
some interest going on in those modern slip joints. Like I said a few weeks ago, there's couple of them I've looked at, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger on anything. I mean, they got good prices, good steel, good materials. I mean, yeah, you can step up into some of the more pricey $200 and $300 ones, or you can get quite a few of them with decent steel and uh, decent material, in that $100 or less range. And so to
Right.
me,
I mean,
it's a real interesting area to play in. Uh, it doesn't hurt you too much financially. You can get a diverse amount of handle materials, blade steels. You can get micarta, carbon fiber, brass is one I've looked at. I've heard it's gone awry. I saw where Gary and somebody else
Al Coonley, channel member.
was
What is
talking
up,
about it in
brother?
one of the chats on Instagram earlier about
Brand new
the
American. Welcome, brother. Go
they're
ahead, bud. You
further
keep
north.
talking. I'm sorry.
They're further north, but they've already started getting it. I guess the storm is at an angle. We're not supposed to get it for another couple of hours. I don't know exactly when, but they were talking about it a few hours ago. Gary, the last ranger, and Cherry Picking EDC was talking about it. One of the knife swap sale chats or whatever. That they're already getting the storms in Illinois and Indiana, because I know that's
really?
where they live there.
So when are we supposed to get them?
I haven't looked since this morning, but it was saying 11 o'clock midnight is when stuff was supposed to move in here, and it's supposed to get rough. But I haven't looked since 11 or 12 o'clock about 11 o'clock this morning.
Louie, what's going on, brother? Denise, what's up? How are you, brother? Yeah, I didn't know we were going to get bad weather last week. It got to be where it was just absolutely crappy weather. It started blowing in here, and I had a little, we'll just call it a fender bender, and the left side of my car got ripped off, and I'm missing a window while I'm waiting to get the door that they had to, well, actually 2 doors that they're replacing. They're coming from Ford. So kind of slowed everything up, and so I've got a tarp that I go put over the window, which is over it now, but I probably need to go batten it down at some point. Kyle Coonley, the man, the myth, the legend. Man, it's great to see everybody. I know there's several other things going on tonight. I know Middle Complex is doing a live giveaway. Mesral, what is up, brother? Yeah, it's definitely going to be nutty, but we always here in Alabama, for some reason, I think we've all gotten too lax because we always have tornado warnings. So usually I pull up my phone. What's up, Nick? When my phone, I look it up on the map and see, that the tornado's 5 miles, 10 miles to the north, and I'll just totally blow it off. What's up, Scott N?
Well, and
brother, I'm going to the post office tomorrow. I've got several boxes, and yours is one of them. I apologize and appreciate your patience. David Iverson, what is up, brother?
I know this isn't a weather discussion channel, but that's one of the problems about here, though, is our last Friday, our sirens were going off left and right and upside down and inside out for tornadoes, and nothing happened here, but the same storm system killed like 24 people in Mississippi.
One state over. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I hate to say it, but the weatherman gets a fucking hard. The weatherman's dick gets hard when the weather goes bad, and so they're on there fucking goddamn.
Look at that right there. You know who that is? That is my main man. See that picture? Where'd it go?
How big a mouth does Jerry need to whip down the tornado?
He sent me that knife. He's the one that said I need a big boy knife.
Fucking Crocodile Dundee knife.
That is 15 inches of badassness.
But I mean, you're right.
It's fucking hilarious. That was my best man at my wedding, man. That dude's some nutcase. Acid test, kids. What is up, brother? Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
Oh, no, that's fine. But what Gone Awry is saying, it seems like they say that all the time. It's always a unheard of, once in a lifetime event. But that's what they say here, and then it seems like, what's up, Scott? Well, nothing happens. And that's where everybody gets comfortable. And then back in 2011, we had 3 F5s literally as the crow flies, down the road from where I'm at, probably about 2 miles. And, people just didn't fucking listen. I mean,
before they disappear. A lot of times there's not.
The kids were at school. I couldn't go get my kids, and the school's literally right fucking there. Literally right fucking there. I mean, across the street from my house is the football field for the school, and I couldn't go get my kids when there's, the storms, because nobody listens to the weatherman. And my kids are sitting there 400 or 500 yards away in the school with their heads between their legs in the hallway, because nobody listened to them. So everybody went to school. My wife's at work. My mom's at work. I have to use my 4-wheel drive to go get my mom because she works at Huntsville Hospital. but lives where I do, 30 something miles over. Because nobody listened to the weatherman because they're always, like I said, getting on fucking TV, jacking off like they did last Friday, talking about how bad it's going to be, and then nothing happens. And then when something does happen, nobody listens. It really is a damn story of Chicken Little.
That is a fact. But again, it happens so much. What does that be for Baron? That you've kind of gotta, you can't take Tactical Terry. What is up, brother? You can't just go, or I don't feel like you can go into the tub or into the hallway or the basement every time there's a warning, because they have put out a warning county-wide it's just in the northwest corner of the county. So I think that they have the technology now to do a much better job, and they do predict paths and tracks. And I think when you have those F5s or F4s come through, I mean, they pretty much are like a freaking lawnmower going across.
Yeah, those are damn near the size of the county. Like those three that hit just south of me a couple of miles, it was 3 F5s side by side. It took out a swath of over a mile wide.
Right. Forever.
Yeah, it started and it went across 3 states, and just, I mean, it removed everything. It didn't matter. My sister lived in one area, and she found paperwork and notebooks and yearbooks from a guy that lived in Smithfield, Mississippi, which is 200 miles away.
That's how far it went there. That is unbelievable.
But nobody listened.
I think you're right. F5 is going to come through. That's pretty much you've met your match at that point.
Oh yeah, there's nothing.
Give me one sec, buddy.
And what Scott N was saying, I think there's a lot of truth to that. But where we live, we've always gotten it to a degree. Because I mean, they call it Dixie Alley. Storms move in from, they usually start around Louisiana and then come up through Mississippi, come through here, and then end in Tennessee,
John Pauly?
on the northeast of us. And so we're used to the storms. It's just 99% of the time it's just storms. It's just rain, thunder, and lightning. We don't even hardly ever get hail. But then when shit does go sideways, I mean, they get so excited every time, it rains, that when there is something legit to talk about, nobody's listening. It's just another storm. It's just another rain event.
Because they've desensitized to it.
Yeah, and that's what Tim's talking about. There were smaller, I guess you could say smaller tornadoes. If it hits your house, it fucking sucks regardless. It don't matter if it's F5 or F1. You're sitting in the house, when it hits it, it's gonna suck. But you don't know what to do. Do I get up and run, or do I just go and sit on the back porch like I did last week?
That's the wisest saying of all. If the thunder don't get you, then the lightning will. The wheel, it turns and you can't slow down, can't let go, and you can't hold on. And it's just a fact. It is an absolute fact. Droovy Tunes, welcome, brother. Glad y'all are here. We're talking about the impending doom of storms, but we're going to start talking about knives, and I'm going to show y'all the other slip joint that started it all, that I ordered with no recollection of ordering it. I was 100% asleep. This is the TPK Traditional Pocket Knives Ohio River Jack little sheep's foot. It's a flat grind, which is interesting because I learned after the fact, QSP made these knives, and Austin actually wanted hollow grinds, wanted this to be a hollow grind, and QSP couldn't do it, allegedly. Well, then the fucking hedgehog comes out. Look at Exhibit A. Made by no other than QSP with a sick hollow grind.
Yep, Johnson started chasing rabbits in a hole somewhere.
Nope,
All
those
the
are the
slip joints.
only two. I actually went through the ultimate test of when I recklessly bought the Hedgehog because it was less than $100, and I did it for the channel's sake, for the
Uh-huh.
for science. Um, yesterday found low jacks, Jack Wolf's, which or low drag jacks, which are my favorite of his patterns, in stock at two different retailers. I won't say it in case I get weak again, but in black micarta, which were the only two variants left. Put it in my cart, was getting ready to check out, sizzle that bitch, and then decided not to because I didn't need a $300 slip joint. I realized, like with my fixed blade obsession, which I've got to show this off, that came from Sharp Guy. That is a little Night Elements, little fixie he did that was a Kickstarter, little OS 10A, exactly the same length as the Chickadee, but it's got a little poon and a little bit of a recurve, super slicey. But unlike the little fixies, the slip joints, it's a good accessory to have. I do find myself using it. I think just because it's kind of a novelty right now, but I love the half stop and I love the full stop, or the when they click into place, or whatever you want to call it. I couldn't tell you how I grade both of these knives, but they're both on the heavier to at least very safe side. And I've heard some like the Benchmade proper and some others are real weak, but not me. Sharp Guys got the Hummingbird is what it's called exactly. The Night Elements Hummingbird.
What up, Kyle? I see you in there. Um, See, I've had the proper I've handled proppers that are stiff, and I've handled proppers that are just like, I mean, like nothing. Like
How do you brand new American?
uh, there's no shaping to the tang of the blade to keep it from just flopping around. Now, I mean, it doesn't flop open and shut like a axis lock does, but you know what I'm saying? There's no stiffness to it. There's no the geometry of how they cut a tang versus it against the back spacer is how what up, Drooby Tunes, is how they give you that half stop and that full stop, that pull the way it feels when you open it. And
Yeah.
With the I've handled proppers where it just slides right open like there's nothing there. And then I've handled proppers that actually feel like they got a little bit of a half stop to them and snap into place.
So how could they be so inconsistent? I mean, it seems like once you got it dialed in the way it's supposed to be, that it's just a matter of replicating it and assembling them right.
I haven't handled one in so long that it could have been maybe the ones that were real slippy, didn't have that almost like a half stop in it. Maybe they were the first generation and they were like, oh shit, we got to fix it. And so they fixed it. And the ones that I've had, because I've only handled like 3 or 4 of them.
Right. Because I think they're cool looking.
Oh yeah, I love the way they look. I just hadn't never bought one because kind of like you, I fought that rabbit hole for a while. And to been one of those when it comes to slip joints, I want them to be traditional. If I'm gonna buy a slip joint, I've never bought one. But then now, part of me, I'm being more and more drawn to them as there's more and more offered that are really nice. I think good quality, good materials. It's just hard when you click on and start looking at.
Howdy, Z-Man.
You start looking at some, retailer online, and you start to see all these cool slip joints. That are modern
But
materials.
Pocket Metal's the same way, where he's very particular about them being truly traditional, right? So there's a difference in a modern traditional and a traditional knife, where moderns have, hex screws. You can adjust them, not that you'd want to. I couldn't imagine. I think once you take this apart, it's game over, right? Unless you've got something to tension that spring back in. But
well, I'm taking some modern slip joints. I don't like calling them modern traditional because there's nothing. They're just slip joints. There's nothing traditional looking about them. I mean, this is a traditional. This is brass pins. nickel silver bolsters, bone, freaking cow shin bone for the scale, stamped, made the same way it's been made for 100 years. That's a traditional. And they're not making those slip joints that way. So I kind of don't agree with that terminology. That I'm with pocket metal and not agreeing with that terminology. I mean, they're just slip joints.
Right.
Because there's nothing about the knife that you held up that looks like this.
No, not at all. Neither one. Now this one has titanium bolsters. It's got metal, but everything's screwed into place, not pinned into place.
Right.
The only thing that looks similar is the back and the blade.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't even look like any traditional that I can tell you about.
No, and I think that's one thing. Doesn't Jack Wolf's hold more towards historic patterns, or is that all myth?
No, his does, as far as the general shape. And I guess I have to take back what I just said, because you could argue that that's similar to an elephant toe or a sunfish, or a canoe if it was two bladed, but it's only one bladed, so it'd be more like an elephant toe or a sunfish.
I never answered Jacob. I would say, depending on what you're looking for, I think it's definitely still worth it. I mean, Endura 4s are classic.
Jacob, the Endura in K390, it's a little bit of an upcharge. I don't know how much of an upcharge it is right now, compared to a standard Endura. But the K390 version, I think, is definitely
Chicago.
The VG10, I think, I want to say they're running about $90 for an Endura. And for VG10, I feel like that's a little bit pricey. But I have the Stretch 2, which is roughly the same size as the Endura. It just has more of a paramilitary tube-shaped blade and K390. And that thing will fucking cut forever. And the Japanese Spyderco does a great job on the heat treat for the K390. Kyle, whenever you want to get on here and show your elephant toe, you can. I'm sure that to see your elephant toe, John would send you a link.
Yeah, I can get you here, buddy.
Get up here and show that camel toe on a whole nother level.
Yeah, he's got the K390 with the Stretch 2.
Yeah, you can get the Endura with K390 also. So that's.
He wants the ZDP.
Oh, I didn't know you could do ZDP 189. I hear you. I'd do it ZDP. I didn't know you could get the Endura in ZDP.
My little Dragonfly, which was the first knife I bought at St. Nick's at the mall, was in ZDP. It is in ZDP.
Yeah.
189. Little green Dragonfly. It was my first knife, and I keep it in my bug out bag now.
I don't know how
sweet, Z-Man.
They make that ZDP. I'm guessing they don't do it as a laminate.
No, they don't do it as solid. And I don't know. I think it's the whole thing sandwiched, because it can't be solid, right? Because this one's done where you can see the seam in it.
Yeah, that one's the same or sandwich steel or whatever you want to call it. And that's the thing is, I don't know how Spyderco does it. A lot of people, because ZDP 189 is so hard, a lot of people do that to protect it from being. Huh?
Do the wrapping or do it?
Yeah, they do it as a sand mine to keep it from breaking, because I think that ZDP 189 is like hard as fuck.
Yeah, it's coated. I forget what's underneath it.
But no, the ZDP 189 is what's underneath.
T-Ball, what is up, brother?
They put a softer steel on the outside. I don't know what I don't know what the standard steel is on the outside, but it has a ZDP 189 core.
Let's see. Let me go on Bay.
Oh shit! I don't even like the knives, but the company that makes the really ugly ass fucking knives that everybody thinks are great, they're that are from Japan and
Shirogoro, not Shirogoro,
that all have ZDP 189 with a convex grind.
Yeah, what are they called? Now you got me. Jared cut himself real bad with one. Damn it. What is it?
He cut himself with areas.
Well, the one he stepped on, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about when he cut his hand real bad because Kara wouldn't let him play with it anymore. It's the one from
I'd love to have a K2, Mark Herrera. I've only ever seen one in pictures. I saw one when they were new, a decade, a Rockstead. Kyle's got it. It's the Rockstead.
Yep. Thank you, Kyle.
I know they polished the shit out of theirs, but I don't even know if theirs is solid.
I thought that these bad boys talked about how they made it, but they don't. It just says San Mai ZDP 189. I thought there was somewhere on here where it talked about how they sandwich it together, but I guess I was wrong.
Scott N said they use, and I know some company, I know Cold Steel used 420 J2, but Scott N saying that I guess that MBK and some of these other, and Rockstead and companies like that are still using 420.
Hyper welcome, Michael Morgan, channel member. Hey man, channel member, welcome guys. Sorry I was a little late. Bama Ninja, or Tad, can you read Bama Ninjas? Because I don't, but I wasn't in the game that long.
I do remember Sergeants. I mean, it's been, since I've been to Sergeant's Cutlery, I don't know when it closed, but I haven't been since the early 90s, mid 90s. Because I don't know why, I've just never went to Florence a lot.
Got in, thank you. You go ahead, or Dark Gravity. I'm just Googling.
Oh, no, I was just telling him that I remember it, but I just haven't been. I don't even know when they closed. I remember somebody at work talking about they had closed, but I hadn't been since the early 90s or mid 90s or something like that. I just never, my family's never, for whatever reason, we always went to Huntsville, never went to Florence. It's kind of the same difference now going, but Florence is further than Huntsville was in the past. Now it's still further away to Florence. It's just less traffic, so it's not as bad. Going to Huntsville sucks because of traffic.
Is it bad? I mean, because it's always pretty easy to go when we go see you and come back. It's not bad at all.
Well, that's because it's the weekend and
true.
In the middle of the day. I mean, so everything kind of flows smooth. But we went. What day? I don't forgot. We went to Huntsville. It was Tuesday when we went to unclaimed baggage, and on the way back, we went to some places in Huntsville. And I know the back ways, to get home, but when we hit certain areas, it was traffic, cars backed up for as far as the eye could see, just sitting still. Mark, I saw Justin's video on the K2. I mean, that thing's freaking huge. But I was thinking the K2 was crew wear or something like that. I didn't know it was ZDP 189. I knew it was a carbon steel, but for some reason I was thinking it was crew wear. I mean, you could probably find you one if you got the money, Mark. I don't know what would set you back, but I would imagine $500 or $600 probably.
Are they bringing that much?
I don't know. I haven't seen one available. Period. I don't think I've ever seen one available. I think I've scrolled through. You know how some of the knife dealers that sell used knives, you can still see the knives that they had 5-10 years ago.
Right,
that they sold, they never delete them. They just put sold on them. I think I've seen them on some of those type deals. Just scrolling through, looking at old knives, see if what you could find kind of deal. But I haven't seen a K2 available. And I mean, the sleek buoy was that way for a while, and then Spyderco decided to re-release it.
So it's kind of in that bombshell dragon or danger pickle territory now, where you don't see them because they made such a few and they're gone.
Yeah, I don't know if the K2 was a limited run when they did it, like the pickle is, because the danger pickle was only 1,500 knives total. If I'm going by memory, I may be wrong with what Eric Lesser said, but I think he said all they were going to do with that sprint run was 1,500 knives, and then the stuff you used to make them is gone.
Well, that was a flash, wasn't it? Isn't there different where supposedly in the flash they break it and they only do it once, or is that something different?
Yeah, that's a flash run.
Is not different.
Yeah, I don't remember what he calls the different one. I just know that like the danger pickle was only 1,500 knives, and that's it.
Welcome, Mike Riggs, channel member.
The stovepipe was the same thing. It was like 1,500 knives, and that's it. I can't think of any others right off the top of my head, but like the fleece buoy was a standard production knife for whatever amount of time.
Timothy Becker's got a Spyderco K2 in his drawer. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what Mark Carrera's talking about. He's got on his want list.
Yeah, Timothy, that's a rare bird.
I doubt Timothy's going to be willing to sell it.
Yes, Stevie is, and in Stevie's honor, let me change this out here. Let's just do that in case he shows up. That's my AI art who made a pickle in Salvador Dali's style. That's how scary AI is. For those of you who are wondering, what's up, Mike Jernak?
Salvador Dali pickle.
Yeah, I've got several. As a matter of fact, before I dozed off, I'd made several different, like this one right here. I look like Gandalf. And then when I do my Metal Mondays, I do that in honor of Lulu and Dottie. Those are the little prairie dogs that Pocket Metal and Shimmyette have.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw up my space cat, my wisdom cat. This is my wise space cat. This is my happy space cat. And then I email myself a bunch. Let me grab them and I'll show you what I got. And then we'll look at knives. Mail. There we go. Boom.
But you had said earlier you wanted to talk about the difference between super expensive knives and affordable knives.
Yeah, and I wanted to show you guys something too.
How that difference has gotten so blurred when you talk about, is that knife worth $300? Is that knife worth, $400 or $500? And then you go and pick up certain knives and you're like, damn. And that how so many knives nowadays. I mean, I keep hitting the damn camera. You don't have to spend a fortune to get a great knife anymore.
No, and where the biggest crime in this knife is I forget the name of it, but this is the Migueron that Lefty was talking about being an absolutely fantastic knife for less than $50.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see that lock bar access there, which is done perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
The choil, which is done perfectly. The little pill-shaped flipper hole, it drops shut. 14C 28N, titanium clip, and G10 that looks every bit as good as Spyderco G10. It's some of the best G10 I have seen. Let's see if I can get.
I mean, the only thing is very boring looking.
It's very what? Boring?
boring looking.
And it's thick. One thing I'll say about the Migarons is they're all under $50. You can find them on Amazon, and this is as good of a knife as, I won't grab that one because it's a custom. I mean, the weight's the same. It's super great blade geometry. I don't know if you can see that, but it's full flat grind on the front, tapers to like a 3/4 right where the deployment hole is.
Yeah, I see it.
G10 backspacer, $47.
And I mean, some people like a bigger handle. You was talking about how it's thick. Some people prefer that.
And I actually prefer that.
I know I've gotten some knives over the years and that's where I have somewhat of an aversion for smaller knives. It's not that they're small, it's that they're thin, and that thinness doesn't feel as comfortable in my hand. And it's just a personal preference thing. Damn, that thing's almost as big as a Marauder. Not as big.
The blade stock's not, but it's definitely not as heavy.
Yeah.
But it's the same size knife. The choils line up. Look who's here with us. Brother Steve.
What's going on? What do you got there?
Man?
You got the Slim Mini there?
Well, this is actually the Mini Marauder. But we were talking about we were talking about the this little Migueron that I picked up. This little budget knife, and I don't really buy budget knives anymore, but I'd seen a review on this. It's $47. It's 14C 28N, and it's kind of a thicker knife because it's got steel liners. It's really nice G10.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of what Dark Gravity and I were talking about was for people who aren't knife people, there's such a disparity in terms what they would perceive as value. And what we were talking about earlier this afternoon was, I would definitely know the difference in an Oz Roosevelt, for example, versus a really nice Tucson. But if you had two knives and you handed them to 10 people that were not really knife aware and you got them to judge the value, would they be able to see what we see for the value of an Oz or of a Koenig or of a Hinderer or a Medford or a Strider over some lesser priced knives, And again, we were both saying that the value for those knives is absolutely there. We kind of live in that territory, but it's kind of I notice when I do videos of really nice knives, they'll get a lot less views than if I do videos on knives that are good knives, or if it's a bad review video, but they're knives that are more in people's reach.
Yeah. I've noticed that too. Like if I'm not in this to make money or do I just do it for fun.
Right.
Like anytime I do a Microtech video, it's just because it's a popular, everybody knows Microtech, even though they're more spendy. But same thing with Spyderco, or I've heard people talk about it in other lives. Maybe it was Kev, but guys that do budget are more budget oriented and show a lot of, like you said, knives that are more attainable. They're just more. They get more views, because that's what a lot more people can afford. There's a lot
and relate to, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're people.
Hey, Lord Needham, channel member, welcome, brother.
They're probably people like me that's all they knew when they first got into knives, and then you get into stuff where, you start finding other, because that's what you see in the store.
Yeah,
a lot of guys.
It's bigger than the 5.5.
Well, and there's something that another knife YouTuber said a while back, and of course a lot of us have poked fun at him for saying it, is that he's a different kind of collector is what it is. I can't even paraphrase what he said, but for him, it's just about getting a new knife. The gist of it is his form of knife, like my form of knife collecting, is somewhere in between them and you, Steve. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of those that teeter on the $1,000 knives, but most of mine are more what you would consider reasonable in that $100 to $200 range. Of course, a lot of them I got before American-made knives went to $200 to $300. But a lot of folks just want to have a new knife, and the thing is when you're completely honest, you take out where it's made, and you just look at materials and cool factors, how it looks, how it feels, how it functions. There's so much that you can get now at $100 to $150 or less. And I use this as an example, this Tucson that I chased for like 6 or 8 months or something. It's 14C, 28N, but the truth is, the 20 CV you buy off of these fuckers ain't no better. So the knife still's fine. It's titanium and carbon fiber. It's got a compound grind. Bolster lock, titanium clip, titanium backspacer. If you look at of course, my camera and lighting suck, but there's no gaps, there's no voids in the carbon fiber. The build quality is great, and it's $100. Or the last I saw, it was $100 or $110 at White Mountain Knife. And you can take this, $400 JK. Now that one don't go team like the JK does, but or you could take. I don't have a hinder in my pocket. It's inside, but you can take one of those, and what am I paying for? I hate to say that. I hate to make that argument, but what did I pay $300 more for, other than the name Hinderer and made in the USA?
Well, and so that's a good point, but you're knowing that you're getting something that's made in the USA, right? That's supporting USA company.
But this has Hinderer stamped on it too, and is made in the USA, and it was $150.
True.
Yeah, it's a nice knife.
And it's a great knife. I de-assisted it, and it works and it's freaking great. Put some gunny glide on it, de-assisted it, and it's a great little knife.
Yeah, I did that with my 0566. That was my first. Is it the 056? That was my first expensive
Manufacturing channel member. What's that, brother?
Knife.
I paid. My wife got this for me years ago, and like I said, it's a great knife. But what's the $300 get you? And I'm not. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate with it right now, because as a knife collector, why not get 4 of these type knives, and I got 4 times the fun, 4 times the pleasure. If what I'm buying is knives, then what am I buying?
Yeah,
am I buying a status symbol? Because, like I said, I can go get my Hinderer, and they're $425, and they're not. If you look at this, like I said, if I hand this to one of my coworkers and hand them my Hinderer and ask them which one's more valuable, they're probably going to say this one.
Just based on the materials.
Just based on the materials, and the it's 3D milled. They're just going to look at it and they're going to be like, this one. Now a lot of the guys I work with.
Part of it comes down to warranty too, though. Like, you snap that blade, how long is it going to take?
But the thing is I've done that outside the military. I've done that once. And
how'd you do that, Dark Gravity?
Huh?
How did you break your blade outside the military? Were you trying to straighten it?
I was trying to straighten it.
And you work in the steel, you're a metallurgist for all practical purposes.
No,
And you were trying to straighten what?
I was trying to straighten Maximet.
How'd that work out for you?
It's not brittle or anything, is it?
No, it's not brittle at all. But like I said, I'm just mostly playing devil's advocate because with the whole deal of why are we doing what we do, and
because we can.
Yeah, it is because we can, but we also should be embracing everything, and that's something that Shane said, and I've said it a dozen times, but it was really nice to hear Shane say it. Too bad the little fucker's not around to hear me talk about him.
He's chasing tacos, man. You know what Shane does on the weekends. I guarantee you I know exactly where Shane is, and it's not pretty.
I want to say that I'm at the point where I'm buying knives that I think are cool looking. And quit chasing dreams. And part of that is I'm really getting you, and you did a video on this the other day, Scotch and Things. What the fuck is up with the price? These secondary prices.
Yeah.
And it's because me and you pay them.
Yeah.
That's what's up with the secondary prices.
Guilty.
Is because you're willing to pay XYZ for, a certain knife just so you can have it, because I can remember when the Oz Roosevelt was a $400 knife.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, that's what it still is. I'm sorry to everybody that's willing to pay $1,000 or $1,200 for a knife made by a dude in his garage on a CNC machine, not made by hand. The grinds aren't done by hand. At least when Scotch and Things goes and buys his ridiculous Strider with the fucking nightmare grind, that was ground by Mick Strider's hands. The handle's CNC made, but the fucking blade was ground by his hands, and that's not easy grind to do.
And as we talk about hand grind, I have to show a J-Cal that is hand ground, every single one of them.
A lot of the old knives, a lot of the old knife makers, people want to talk about how, a lot of these the old knife makers don't respect the new knife makers, and it's because what they do takes fucking talent. To grind a nightmare grind, to grind a J-Cal by hand, and that fucking crazy ass recurve compound grind that Brass Brigade did, that Bod ended up buying it. I think both of them or one of them. I
think he got them both.
That takes freaking talent. That's not sitting there typing away on your little computer and hit and go. And because I didn't make knives, but I worked in a CNC shop where we made parts for aircraft, and that's what we did with most of it. Was we, programmed it in, told it to go, here, there, and yonder, and it would cut the parts out. We didn't do shit. Sit there, smoke cigarettes, and talk shit, and blow up gloves with acetylene, and act like morons. Sorry, I got on the soapbox. But
it's true. A lot of it's true. I'm
just tired of people wanting all my goddamn money.
Yeah, and it gets, because we want the stuff, and we know, it gets to a point. Gone awry. That is awesome, brother. Oh, I have a member chat. Why am I not seeing him? That's right. I don't have my. Hold on, guys.
Thingamabob.
You're gonna hear me for 2 seconds. You're gonna hear an echo. You've been warned.
Like I said, a lot of it just seems like it's gotten to the point of ridiculous with it. It's not. I have no problem where
Satisfaction member for 1 month. Hello, all. Got pizza wings on the way. I would like to formally ask Kyle Sharpens, what the fuck? When did this happen? Let me see if I can highlight that. That's what Maddie always says. Thank you, Satisfaction, for being a channel member, brother. All you guys who are channel members, I appreciate you.
The thing is, the truth is though, Tim, is there are so many knives that are just as good as an Arius. And yes, I've handled an Arius, and I know there's going to be people on here that's going to, or there's other YouTubers that say, no, an Arius is, that's the fucking pinnacle. I mean, no, it's a psychological pinnacle. It's not a factual pinnacle. No offense to Scotch and things, but that Strider is a psychological pinnacle.
Oh no, it brings out the kid in me. I see this thing.
It is the joy, it is the pleasure, the lunacy that is that knife.
It's the first time I saw one, it was I never thought I was going to have one.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing, like, I carried this today, and it just brings a smile to my face.
I mean, yeah, and that's being honest about with the knife.
Yeah, it's just purely that.
That buck 110 that you get at Walmart for $40 will do everything that he needs done in a day.
I could honestly, I've talked about this before, I could probably sell my entire collection, and I'd keep one for work, and I could probably get away with both. I did that for a long time, but I'd probably keep a Strider for work, because I know I do dumb shit at work with knives, and I know it can take it, and I'd keep a knife for EDC, and I could probably get by the rest of my life with 2 knives. One for work and one for EDC. And if I wasn't in this world, I'd be completely happy with that.
But you made a really good point, Scotch and Things. If every time you carry that knife, it gives you a smile, if you carry it enough, if a smile's worth $1, which is worth a lot more to me, you're getting your money's worth out of that knife every day. And if you look at how many days you had it and how many times it's made you smile, I can see that as being a value.
Yeah, on any of those like, it was just a knife, like, I never thought I'd have. But
Maddie,
hard work.
The pinnacle is that is what Scotch is saying. It's the fact that this knife makes me happier than Tony Arius did. The fact that this knife, that's the pinnacle. It's not who made it. It's not what it's made out of. It's not what the internet tells me it's supposed to be. It's what I feel. It's what I feel when I pick it up. Yeah. And if your pinnacle is a $100 knife, then that's okay. If your pinnacle is a $10,000 knife that makes you feel, that gives you that feeling, then that's okay. It's just knowing that when a lot of that is programmed into our head, that's the reason YouTubers get paid. That's
not
the
all
reason
YouTubers. Not very well.
But that's the reason there is money out there to be had. It's called influencers. And I've been around long enough to watch where, the ZT0562 was nothing, and then it went up, and then it went back down. I've been around. I remember when the Oz Roosevelt first started becoming a big deal, and I was telling you about that earlier. You get one reviewer reviews it, says it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, then another one does, and another one does. And I'm not saying it's a great knife. I'm not saying that the Arius is not a great knife. I'm saying that and I'm not even saying that anybody's a shield.
No, in this case, we were talking about somebody whose honest opinion was so well thought of because of their following that they made a difference and influenced the market.
It got that snowball running.
Absolutely, Z-Man.
A lot of what happens is we have to be honest with ourselves and our money, or we end up in trouble. And we chase these knives and we pay double the value or double the price of what the knife is, and next thing you know, we're in financial trouble.
Well, and you supported that market because it's the basic supply-demand game. I never paid attention, and absolutely economics was my worst class at the time, but I do think and agree with Mark Herrera that the Ritter RSK MK1 G2 is probably the best value of any knife out there. It's made in America. It's under, or it was under 160. I think the Magna Cut with carbon fiber is 199, and the Magna Cut's heat treated at 64, if I'm not mistaken.
63, 64.
Yeah. So I would say if you're looking at value for dollar, but then, you know, I put a big value on Made in America. Another knife that I watched in real time, and I haven't been in the community that long, but I watched in the real time this Max Ace Black Mira that everybody raved about. And then Jared Neves gave a review on it. No fault of Jared's. He just said this is an M390 titanium or titanium and carbon fiber for $142. This was the best value knife of 2022. So at the time, Blade HQ still had this variant in stock, which was the variant that I wanted. So right after Jared's video, I went to Blade HQ, and lo and behold, this was out of stock, which I figured that makes perfect sense. Jared just did a video on it. He's got 250,000 followers. At the time, I think he had about 150, and there probably weren't a lot in stock, and they sold. The next day, I got up, and I happened to look again, and this knife was $189 back in stock at Blade HQ. So I went to Max Ace's website and bought it for $142 and made a rant video when it came in. Nobody heard my rant video or cared, but Jared and I talked about it. And then I don't know if y'all remember, but Jared got hooked up with Blade HQ with an affiliate link. Well, he talked to them about this particular situation. And Blade HQ now sells this knife for $142 or $148 with carbon fiber. So influencers can definitely move markets, but if they also are willing to engage with the retailers, they could even make a difference there. What's up, brother?
Look, the influencers is the big reason we buy a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily need. Because we think we need it.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh, I made a video last week on how much I spent this year on knives, and
that was a great video.
The actual number is truly staggering.
Well, you said you had a good idea, but you had more investigating to do.
I had more because I left some out. I didn't count. It was just money I spent, and it was right at like $43,000, and but that was just fun. Like, could I have done something else with that money? Yeah. Could I bought another rental property? Yeah. Could I have done something? But all my investments were taken care of. All my family was taken care of, and everybody. It was mostly it was pretty much positive. Everybody was like, "Well, if all your obligations and whatnot are taken care of, I mean, what do you care?" And I get it. I'm like, yeah, but that's an obnoxious amount of money on a hobby. It could be a sports, I could spend, if I had a sports car, I'd spend more on that. So
motorcycle, and you put yourself at risk every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's take it one way or another. But I was talking to a buddy tonight, and he was talking with an acquaintance of his who took out $10,000 of his 401k to buy a knife. That is irresponsible. I said, like, he was asking me what I thought. I would never, retirement, nothing is investments, family money is untouchable. Nothing gets bought until everything's taken care of. And I think robbing Peter to pay Paul, that's not a good move.
No, especially for a want, not a need item. Yeah. I mean, it's tragic enough when people have to draw from their 401k for medical bills or kid tuition or things like that. But when it's to get a knife, you've got to really examine what your priorities are and why you do what you do. And I'll agree. I'll be the first to agree that my knife buying, even though it's changed somewhat and it's gotten a little less frequent because I'm buying more expensive stuff, it's fueled by the same thing that made me a 14-a-day Lortab junkie for about 21 years. You wouldn't have known I was a junkie unless I didn't have Lortab because I played it off. But at the same time, the behavior is similar. I think
Oh,
there's a dopamine rush with looking up websites, finding that drop. I was talking to A to Z this morning, and he picked up one of those Wii's that I think look horrible, but they come out. You know what I'm talking about? The that one that's got the pointed blade, the Warncliffe, sold out everywhere except for the Moku Tai and Dam Steel. It came out yesterday. It's the anyway. He went to GP Knives. They were sold out. He refreshed his page, and one of the variant he wanted was in stock. So he got it in his cart, checked out, and got it. But he was like, man, I can't believe I got that knife. And I was like, why'd you want it? I mean, I know you like Wii's. I know it's a button lock. I know it looks different. He's like, they're only making, I forget how many. So his attraction to chasing that knife was the perceived rarity of it. But then he even said, the feeling of getting it in his cart, of getting out through the transaction process was kind of a rush. The whole thing was just, so it puts off the same type of chemicals in your brain.
You don't need it. It's the same, like you buy a knife, and before that knife gets delivered, I'm already I could be shopping for a new knife already, and the one I just bought hasn't even shipped yet.
Oh, and you may tell you what's really bad is auctions on fucking eBay.
Thank God.
Well, no, I had to tell my wife because I bought two of the same fucking thing. I won an auction. I didn't intend to win because I found one in another spot for actual sale, so I bought the sale one and actually got the one that was for sale for less than what I paid for the fucking auction. By the time, because that auction turned me into a crackhead.
You were probably going against Colton Sales. He was probably in there driving up your price.
Probably.
I've been a lot better lately, so that's good. I'm trying to take it easy.
Yeah, but when does Lent end?
A couple weeks, and I did going up tomorrow. I might have broken it twice, and I didn't even realize that one. I met with our builder Wednesday night, and we started drinking, got home, had a couple more pops. Next morning I wake up and I've got an email from DLT. I'm like, oh, what'd I do? What did I do? So I've broken it a couple times, but it's been only 2 compared to last year. Shit, I didn't even make it, I think, a week, and I had bought 8 knives already. So 2 compared to that.
Probably 20.
Yeah, it's kind of helping me. Like, I'm only, other than this unnecessary.
Scott, I'll tell you something that I still do it, and I actually set, and this is something I learned years ago, and it's so I don't spend copious amounts of money. Is I did this when I lost my job back in 2008. This is when I set the rule, and I've stuck to it, even though it's 14 years later, and all that's long past history as far as income. When I was making like $12 an hour after I lost my job and I had to get something, I told myself that I would give myself $20 a week. I just chose that number and I've just stuck to it, even though I could afford more than that now. And what I do, and you can ask John, I build up money and then buy what I want. And if it takes me 6 months, and you choose the amount, I mean, whatever you're comfortable off of. And if it's outside that budget, if it's outside, what you've got folded up in your pocket kind of deal, then, like I said, that's what I've done. And it's worked for me. It's kept me from spending ridiculous amounts of money on things. And like I said, I could raise it up to $50 or $100 a week or $150 a week because I spend more money than I should anyway.
Thank you, Piper.
By setting
that,
you know, and it's amazing how quick you end up with a wad of cash and like, damn, I ain't even bought nothing.
Oh, I've been on a selling streak lately, so just stacking my PayPal up, ready to go when Easter rolls around. But I'm after a couple specific things. I'm not going to go buy just below it. I'm after a couple older Striders, so that's where I'm at now. I'm kind of selling off a bunch of stuff I know I'm not going to carry, even though I like it. It's like, oh, I like it, but it's just sitting in the safe. I'm like, I got to move a bunch of stuff because I'd rather get, right now it's like just this older stuff that's been around. It's, this knife is 15 years old and still as good as the day it was made, and just getting a couple rarer pieces and kind of bringing the collection back into some sort of normal numbers.
That
I'm greasy, man.
That 15-year-old Strider is rarer than the new. He just did a drop at the Blade Show West or Texas. I mean, so that 15-year-old Strider is more rare than the new one.
Yep, I'm pretty proud. There's a SNG, a smaller version of this for sale right now, and I passed on and I talked to the guy. I'm like, I can't buy it right now. I'm gonna hold off.
See, I like it. I prefer the SNG because the fucking SMF is just a massive monster.
Yeah, I really like the SMF, but for work, especially the SMF, and then the SNG for just like an everyday knife, and they just fit my hand. I mean,
that's why I like the Strider. And I mean, that's just my opinion, and I guess me and you happen to share the same opinion. If you hold a Strider, it's like holding nothing else.
Yeah. It's just made well.
And it fits amazingly well in your hand. It
was just like it was made for me. But I mean, that's not like a sheer.
Guys, Twang Thang put up a public service announcement that White Mountain Knives has the Black Mirror for $133 free shipping, and I don't know if that's before or after you put in Lefty 10 or Tri-State, but if anybody's looking for M390 titanium for under $150, this is a great knife. I absolutely love it.
There's a lot of...
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. And you guys don't have to do that, but I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, I would check out White Mountain Knives. I was there earlier. You know what they dropped yesterday that I'm sure was there for a little while, but they dropped Hinderer Skinnies. Oh, that's with discount. $133. That's a win.
USA Made Blade has been, if anybody wants a Hinderer, they get them and they let you know when they're coming in. And he was just talking about it too. They do a live stream every Thursday on Instagram, but he was like, 5 years ago, Hinderers sat around. Chris Reeves sat around before, the pandemic, and they never had to worry about selling out of something. My first Chris Reeve and my first Hinderer, I went into a knife store and bought because they just had stock that would sit there. And now it's like they drop and you can't even get in on one.
Let me pop this chat out again.
Scott. I guess it won't be my secret location anymore if I tell my secret location where you can usually get Hinderers pretty easy. Scotch and Things gave the secret for Striders out, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. But Wild About Sporting Goods is somewhere that you can find some of your more rare knives available, because he's definitely a smaller online channel, but I've bought a few knives from him and great customer service. I mean, you can call and actually talk to the guy. I think his name is Mark. I may be wrong on what his name is. That's been but Wild About Sporting Goods is a great place to pick up a lot of your more difficult. You know, your USA made blade, it's going to sell out in half a second. It's a lot of DLT trading or River's Edge cutlery, it's going to sell out in half a second. But Wild About Sporting Goods, I know when he got the drop the same time that Whitty did at USA Made Blade for those slicers earlier this week, Wild About Sporting Goods still had some a couple hours later. They still had, I remember, and they even still had a black D10, which usually your blacks, greens, and browns seem to sell out the quickest. The last one they have is like fucking orange or yellow, some glow in the dark shit.
I'll tell you something else, Dark Gravity, that might make you tempted to come over to Atlanta for at least today. Did you see the what's been shown off and sold from the Hinder booth at Blade, Texas?
Yeah, the Magna Cut.
The finish. What are you after?
The Battlefield pickups. Yeah, he does most of the time. Battlefield pickups are at the shows. But the thing is, if I don't go on Friday and get an early bird, I'm not going to get a Battlefield pickup. Because
I think you'd be surprised.
I would love a Battlefield pickup. Actually, my Project X is, but I just sold that. So
well, he'll have at the shows. He'll have plenty of your standard knives that you can easily get one of those at the show. But the Battlefield pickup and those card knives, you ain't getting one of. I mean, those are still, you got to be early bird because there's going to be fuckers there like we were talking about earlier, like E-Knives and Arizona Custom Knives are going to go there and buy them up so they can put them on their website and charge you an upcharge of $300, $400, $500.
But I was early bird last year, and I was there when it opened. It was like an hour we had beforehand, I think. And there was still stuff for everybody the weekend, like Oz's, Koenigs, the whole 9 yards.
Well, that's because those they plan on, but the Battlefield pickup is still a limited number. He only does X amount, and that's it. It's like with the card knives, he only does 52, and that's it.
I know. Was I dumb for selling my card series knife? Or should I have kept it, you think?
Personally, I would have kept it. That was, of course, you hadn't got to talk to A to Z a whole lot. He messaged me the other day because he had an MP1 or has an MP1 Hinder with.
Hey, NebuCloud, happy Friday, brother.
A steel flame engraving on it.
Oh, he asked me about that too. And I was like, that's
I told him I would keep the steel flame because you can't even fucking find one to compare the price on.
Well, I've seen some MP1s for sale, but I've never seen a steel one with the steel flame logo on it.
Right. So I told him, I said, I would keep the steel flame. And he was asking about, because some guy was offering him a Shiro. I think it was an N95 Shiro.
What's up?
And I was like, no.
Knife. It was like a $900 knife. And I was like, ooh, yours is worth. I said, I'm not 100% sure, but what you have is way more valuable.
Right. It may not be book value more, like, paying you're going to buy it for more, but it's still a more valuable knife because I can go find Shiros all day long. I can't find that knife.
Demon Knock, channel member.
It doesn't ever even exist. And so when you talk about your card knife was the only one that existed.
I know, 101. I mean, 1 of 52, but 101 and that. And that was my
101 because they only made one of that number. So,
yeah, and I thought about that, and so when I bought it, I got it on the drop that they do on Black Friday. Got the number I wanted, got the one I wanted, because most guys go for the Jokers or the Ace, the Ace King Queen stuff, and got it. And my plan was, because I knew we're building a house, I'm gonna have my own little man room vault thing, and I was gonna try and get one every year, and just because it's a cool display. Let me grab it's right here. I mean, it's a presentation he does is, this thing is heavy. It's milled out of one solid chunk of aluminum. Then you got the pen, the dice, the cards. Oh, last time.
Oh man.
I just couldn't. And Satu Dave is making me I thought I didn't want to mess up this wood scale. So Satu Dave's making me a titanium scale, and I thought I'd carry it more, but then I'm like,
Got
I
it.
don't know, man. And here's the stupid thing. I'll carry a $3,000 Strider, but I'm having issues with this.
Yeah, but the thing is you know you can go buy another Strider.
Yeah. So I honestly, like, seriously, right before I got on, I was just working a deal. I sold it to a guy and for trade for a working finish, a brand new working finish, Project X. So I didn't hit him on price. I just sold it to him what I got it for, and then deducted the price of his knife, and took cash and a knife I can use and carry. And probably stupid, but I don't know. It's probably gonna be one of those ones.
Nebby Cloud, I am riding it, brother. I'm riding it more now because the weather's getting nicer. Riding them. Hey, Dark Gravity. Earlier, Tim, Bama Ninja said, has St. Nick's gotten better since we were there? I know they did the remodel since we were there, but you said they've brought in some more inventory, right?
Yeah, they're carrying more brands. I know they're carrying Sharp by Designs. I know they have Sharp by Design now. They've got Cold Steel. I can't remember, and they're bringing more in. They're working with other folks to bring in more knife brands. I know they said there was more coming, and I don't remember what.
He said Spartan. They were working with Spartan.
They're trying to get Spartan. Like I said, I can't remember who all they said, but they're trying to work with pretty much everybody.
Did they ever get in that big Chris Reeves order? Did that ever come in?
Oh yeah, it's sold out though.
Yeah, I figured it was sold out by now if it came in.
Yeah, well, they've had a couple, 2 or 3 come in because they do have some of the Damascus ones when I was there about a week or so ago. But all the MagnaCut, yeah, I mean, like everybody that worked there had a new knife, so I think the entire store just bought the knives. All the new Chris Reeve MagnaCut. I mean, folks had them with the Tantos, had them with the Koki blade, had them with the Insingo blade. I mean, it was just like, I think the employees all have been saving up waiting. And when they showed up, because it's like everybody had some new Chris Reeve knife in their pocket when I went last time.
That's one maker I don't have yet. And I do watch them, or I've got a couple of field grade Spartans, but I don't have any real Spartans.
I wish that Spartan, and I know some people, I wish they would make a 3.5 inch, 3.6 inch, something.
Do they make a 4 inch? I mean, it says 4 inch and 3.2.
And then a 3.25, and the 3.25 is actually small, like the Hinderer 3, the XM18 3 inch is actually small. It's not, I mean, they're actually both small knives. And that's my only issue with the Spartan at the 3.25 is it's actually just as small as that Hinderer XM18 3 inch.
And the big one, didn't you pick one up in Nashville?
Yeah.
That was the big one?
It's just a lot longer. I don't know what it is. I won't carry a 4 inch knife. I just won't. It's kind of like a 3 inch knife. I won't carry a 3 inch knife either.
Gotta be that perfect.
I just like what I like, I guess. And it's probably because that's, I started out when I was a little kid with a Buck 055, but when I actually become, relatively speaking, an adult size, I carried the Buck 110, and then, which is right around that, 3 1/4 or whatever inch blade knife. And then after that, it was the first real knife that I carried, as far as what any of us would recognize, was I carried a Benchmade Emerson Spectre, which is a CQC7. He's been making the same knife design since the 80s. but it's a 3.5-inch blade, and I guess I carried that so long and got comfortable with it, and that's just what I've stuck with, is right around that 3.5-inch blade, you know. And after 20 some odd years, 30 years of carrying a 3.5-inch blade, if I try to carry something different, I just feel weird. You know, it's like my wife. She's been stuck with 2 inches for 30 years, and she's used to it. If you gave her 3, she wouldn't know what to do.
ORJ. Somebody help me out. What's an ORJ?
Ohio River Jack.
Oh, it was my first and only slip joint until I had it for about 6 hours, and then I bought another one.
I watched that video yesterday.
But I love it. For what it is, it's really cool. And I can actually fidget with it, which I would have never thought I'd fidget with the slip joint. But there's just something that's tactically pleasing about that. I don't know what it is. But when I cut my finger, because that's the one knife, the slip joint, I think one of the reasons, besides not wanting to go down the rabbit hole, is I've always been terrified of them. Because when I was a little kid, my dad had one, and I remember he'd sharpened it down to where the blade was like, thin as shit. But I was playing with it, was never supposed to play with it, and it snapped down on my finger. And man, it sucked. I can remember I was about 7 years old, and my dad was pissed, and my finger was bleeding, mangled. My mom was pissed because my dad left it out, and it was just a shitty time. So I think it was childhood PTSD that kept me from really liking slip joints, because they are good knives. And I'll tell you, for less than $50 if you go with micarta, or less than $100 if you go with carbon fiber like this little hedgehog, I just love the little point on the end of that little package popper. And this walk and talk's a little lighter, but still very good. I would guess. I don't know what to compare it to. I keep wanting to finger flick it. That'll never happen. Leland Field, what is up, brother? I think I said hey to you earlier. David Iverson, I think I said hey to you earlier, but hey again. Bluminati, man, I'm glad you guys are here. May have a surprise guest or two pop in. There is no telling. So did y'all throw up your carries earlier? What did you carry today? You said you carried your Strider with the Wicked Grind, that Nightmare grind.
Yeah, the Rask.
And the Rask's one you picked up this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this week or last week. I think I saw your unboxing of that.
This was the first oops. But I'm glad I did it for the best.
That's
so
a big oops.
It was an oops.
That's a big oops.
Be right back, guys. I'm grabbing my phone. It's beeping across the room.
It's that thing I was talking about, though, that, I had wanted, a Stonewash Blade one, and just doing nothing on my phone, and they have one available on their website, and without even thinking, I'm like, oh, I got it, and then I'm entering my information as fast as I can, and then the sale goes through. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to buy that right now. But
that was, and I didn't buy it. I didn't spend no Rask money, but what it is, well, I hadn't said anything about it, but my old clothes don't fit no more. And so I figure it's end of season. I could get a good deal on a jacket. And I did. And I ended up buying, I forgot I'd bid on a Carhartt flannel lined trucker jacket from the 90s, an American made Carhartt. I forgot I'd bid on it. Well, another one come up for sale, and so I went ahead and bought it.
So now you got two.
So now I got two. I got one on the way and one already here.
Well, it'll last a lifetime.
Well, and that's the problem is, as long as they will last forever. Because the other one that I've got is, I want to say I got it right around the millennium, right around 2000, and it's still fine. Looks almost brand new. I mean, it's a little faded, but it still looks almost brand new. But I'd gotten one in the mail earlier this week, and opened it up, showed it to my wife, and then she's sitting right beside me when my phone goes off with eBay saying that I won the auction. And she was like, "What was that?" Because she knows the sound of eBay going off on my phone. And she was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Well, I won an auction." She's like, "Well, that's good. What did you win?"
I got you a coat, honey.
I got a jacket. What kind of jacket? Well, unfortunately, it's like the one I just got.
So you got a pair of jackets.
Yeah, it's always fun to explain.
Yeah, but she always gives you all the piece you need.
And that's like if you buy buying like, and not saying like a cheaper knife won't last you a lifetime, but knowing like that Chris Reeve or the Strider, knowing that it'll last me the rest of my lifetime. Same thing with clothes. Like I'll buy not super expensive like outerwear, coveralls, coats for work, but like jeans and stuff like that, they just get thrashed. But spending money on a good pair of boots for work that I know I can get at least 2 years out of, that's where, if it's like, yeah, I could go to Walmart and buy a pair of $50 boots, but they'll last me. They'll last me. My watching how fast my guys go through their boots, I'm like, if you guys just would spend a little bit more money on boots, you'd have one pair for the whole year instead of 2 or 3 pair.
Nice carries, guys. Sobex is like the Penny X.
My work provides us with boots, and they still, the ones that we can get through the retailer that they have a deal with, they still don't seem to last very long. But when you're on your feet for 12 hours a day, it's not that the exterior of the boot falls apart. It's the interior
difference. Like you said, standing for 10, 12 hours on your feet all day, it makes a huge difference. And durability, like I went with Justin's for a long time because we got to wear steel toes. And they were fine, but man, I'd get them with the Vibram. They had like the Vibram sole, so
very nice, Dan.
Cool. But then I noticed like the interiors, they changed something, and like the interior after like 3 months was just shot inside the boot. And I switched to, so then I went and did some research, looked at Red Wing makes some, and I just wanted a good boot, and Red Wing makes American made boots, but not like I wear pull-ons because I'm just lazy. I don't want to
channel member.
All I do is shoelaces at work, and those weren't. Tried them on, liked them, and then I found like the Timberland.
Shout out for Mr. Douglas. Turned 100 30 years ago today.
Most comfortable boot I've had in 8 years, and the pair I'm on now has lasted 2.5 years. So I'm about ready for a new pair.
That Exa, that's an awesome knife.
With work boots for my work is every time I go, I end up having to get a different brand and a different model because we have to wear Met Guard boots. And every time,
nice,
like,
Jeffrey,
a supply, like I had some Timberlands for a while, they were great. Then I had some Ariats for a while, they were fine, and now I've got Rockies because I couldn't get the Ariat or the Timberland that they had before. And so I figure in another few months I'll be getting another pair, and it'll be something completely different, because they never have the same boots in stock that you had originally. I wish they would
love you, brother.
There's a Red Wing store next to my work, and I wish they would set up an agreement with Red Wing because they offer the Met Guard boots, and at least it's always the same brand and maybe a different model every time. But at least they'll be able to get the same. And if they had the contract, then I'm sure Red Wing would keep them supplied with whatever we wanted.
I love the G Cleavers, man.
They cost the same amount of money as the ones that I get from the other store. I just be able to get the same thing every time, an American-made model. But
congratulations, Roman M. That's a nice knife. It's caught my attention, but then I saw it was the exact same size as this.
What was that, JuhVon?
This is the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. Not Mini Tempest. Yeah, Mini Tempest and the Mini Evo is what Roman M got in today, which is that cool little knife with the flipper. Let me check my text message real quick, guys. Hold the fort down.
I will end up talking about work boots. I don't think nobody wants to listen to us talk about work boots.
No one.
He wants to get me a copy.
No one chimed in at all. No one chimed in. I made a couple of videos. I'm about ready to do a boot update if I ever get around to it, because I was so mad at those Justins, and everybody, they're like, well, what are you wearing now? So yeah, it's been the same boot for the last 2.5 years, and I'm gonna buy them again until they disappoint me, because God, if you can be comfortable on your feet and the boot lasts, anything for a year for me was good. I was going through every year, and I got 2.5 years out of them. That's money well spent.
All right, guys, we're gonna play. We're gonna have an exercise in psychedelia.
What?
This is a copyright strike waiting to happen. Tell me if y'all can hear this. Or is there no sound?
I can hear it.
I'm not hearing it, damn it.
I can hear it just fine.
How does it sound? Because I can't hear it. Oh, we've got a visitor.
What are you guys doing?
Can you hear it, A to Z?
Yeah. What's happening?
How much of it do I got to play, Abner?
I thought this was a live stream. I didn't know we were attending a TED show.
So y'all didn't think you'd be listening to Great Dead songs from the mid-70s? Live, Abner says, I can't hear it. I'm going to have to listen to it when I can, brother. It is the Grateful Dead.
I mean,
Look at A to Z.
Hold on. I can't get my foot up here. You have.
Look at that bad girl.
That's that we. What's it called? It begins with a Z, right?
Yeah, Zippius. It's crazy.
Just awesome.
Yeah. We does it again. Just right out of the box. Never
I like
ever
that
to
blade.
grab a wrench to make any adjustments. Ooh, I like those socks.
what's up with the cap and the socks?
Can you see? Can you see the tattoo there, JuhVon? It's old. It's faded.
I see your Stelia, man. I love it. Dude, I saw 63 shows. About half of them with Ab, the guy that's the chat, who was the best man in the Reading, and he was the Jerry to my Bob when we were in Soul Biscuit and Nothing Personal bands all through college and post.
I never got a chance, and then a buddy and I were going to get tickets. What year was it? 94, 93, or 90? I can't remember the year now. And then he died that summer.
95.
That's 95. Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah, I was dating a girl at the time who ended up being my ex-wife, and a buddy of mine, Steve, came through town when they were playing in Birmingham and Memphis, and we went to the 2 Birmingham shows, the 2 Memphis shows, and we stayed in Jackson with my future ex-wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, and then we were going to Memphis for 2 days, and she had a ticket, and she was like, I'll just catch him next time. And there was no next time. That was it.
Yeah.
If you got
But
any
yeah.
other t-shirts, I'll take them.
Got any other what?
Any of their original t-shirts, I'll take them off your hands.
Nothing. I still have my Pink Floyd concert T-shirt from '94. I got. My wife every once in a while. It's ratty and it's tattered. I'm like, nope, can't get rid of it.
That was another thing about Dead shows. You never really saw official merch. All the merch was just like free reign out in the parking lot.
That's the way most concerts were back in the day, except for your organized heavy metal concerts and stuff like that. But even all the rap concerts back in the 90s with like Tupac and Ice Cube and NWA and Biggie and all that, they didn't have authorized merchandise being sold at them. It was all bootleg sold in the parking lot, just like a Grateful Dead show.
But the Grateful Dead had chicks in dresses spinning around aimlessly with bare feet, and they were the nastiest, dirtiest feet you've ever seen in your life.
This is true.
Their feet would be as black as the sole of my boot I've got on right now. You are correct. And no telling what they were standing in at those concerts.
Oh, God, man. I remember seeing those spinner chicks at Dead shows just going everywhere, coming out of public restrooms in bare feet, just like, oh, my God.
And I never understood how they didn't fall down. How they didn't get dizzy and just fall out.
They probably did fall down quite often.
Like Ditter on nitrous.
I'd fall down now and try to spin around wood.
What level of intoxication do you have to reach before you just don't care what you put your feet into anymore?
I think it's when you kind of evolve into the lifestyle, and it's not as much about the chemicals as it is about I'm fitting in with the people in the hall, the drums crowd.
I'm sure they're fitting in, but I'm sure the chemicals are there as well.
Yeah, but we weren't spinning, and I mean, I don't know of anybody who was more of a than me during those days.
I didn't know it at the time. I found out after I married her that Jane was a spinner.
Was she really?
Yeah. I remember her telling me that, and I was like, oh, God, I wish she hadn't told me that.
Something you can't unsee.
Better differently now.
Weeks later, I filed for divorce. It's like, I cannot sleep with those feet.
Crispy Critter, I agree. Summer dresses are kryptonite. That's true. Whirling dervish, they don't fall, and they are whirling dervishes, for lack of a better term.
With dirty feet.
With dirty feet, and I'm sure some of them get some nasty cuts, because that was back in the day of glass beer bottles.
Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah, they'd go everywhere in dirty and bare feet, man. It was disgusting.
Yeah, we should have had like a Birkenstocks donation program. When your cork blew out of your Birkenstocks, you donated it to a spinner.
I bought another pair of Birks last summer.
They're so good.
They're so. I had some back in the day, and I just wanted a comfortable pair of sandals for summertime, and God, they're so comfortable.
That's funny. Yeah, the beach is different. That's where it's socially acceptable to be barefoot. Dead shows you're walking through like an inch of muck. Luke 10 Tex, what is up, brother? Welcome.
I still don't compete with the people that think mudsliding at fucking Bonnaroo is a good idea.
Hallucinogenics will make you do crazy shit, dude.
Do you realize what the mud is at Bonnaroo? Up Murfreesboro?
It's probably not mud.
Well, it's dirt mixed with something, but it ain't water.
Uh-oh. That only leaves beer or urine.
Or some strange combination of that along with vomit, probably.
Yum. God, when can we buy tickets? I want to go.
My daughter's all into Bonnaroo. They love it.
I went to Bonnaroo one time back in, I don't forgot, like 2005 or 2004. Never again. The South is not meant to have a concert, a 3-day concert in the summer.
No, it's too damn hot. I've never been. As much as I like good bands, it's never even occurred to me to go to Bonnaroo.
I went to see Fish.
I'm actually going to see Fish.
A to Z, look at Abner's comment.
I can't see comments. Oh, you posted it. There it is.
He watched her face plant off the curve and listened to that as her balloon just soared off into the fucking space. And she was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Like, no, you don't. You look fine. And she had this big goose egg on her head. I was like, you're going to be fine. The show starts in a couple hours. It'll be great.
Sit behind the stage with us.
How's Grateful Panic? Is he healing up?
He is healing up. He just walked back in. He's actually started going back to work. You know, he's got one arm that's broken. And his stitches hadn't come out yet, but I think they come out pretty soon. So he's got stitches in one hand and a broken other arm. So I think his.
I don't remember. It's the only time I've ever seen Fish, and I was so drunk I barely remember getting there, and I barely remember leaving.
Good times.
The only reason I vaguely remember leaving is because the traffic was fucking bad. I was sobering up by the time I got out there. I mean, because it's one road out down this country road onto the interstate.
And that was Bonnaroo?
Yeah, up in Murfreesboro, or that area right there close to Murfreesboro.
Stella, welcome.
Not Murfreesboro, Manchester, Tennessee.
Yeah, Manchester.
And it's like 2-lane country road to the interstate. And when Bonnaroo lets out, don't be in a hurry.
Yes, it's just all things I don't like. Hot weather, traffic.
Yeah, traffic when you're beaming is kind of tough anyway. And if you've been hot for 2 days, I think that's a recipe for disaster. So even though we're not affiliated with NASL, let's see if anything good is on their site.
Yeah, I still ain't put my knives up on there. I'm the world's greatest procrastinator.
Well, you don't need to, because you don't need to sell them. I think
I got you beat, Tad.
Now, you've actually sold a knife or two.
Oh, yeah, I'm constantly selling knives, but I'm also constantly buying them.
There's a Forest for $170. A Wingman EDC. I've kind of been interested in that knife.
Or how does that work? Do they take a commission or
7%?
7%? It'd almost be worth it just to help get rid of something that's hard to get rid of.
Or something that you'll see some lower price knives here too, like the CMB Cutter, which is a great knife. Yeah, they got two 5.5s.
I saw an Asher up there earlier.
I saw a stovepipe when you scooted by it.
An EOS Microsurgeon.
EOS is a knife that I like, some of their designs, but I still have not even handled one. Have any of y'all handled the EOS?
I have not.
There's a first production, so we know that's got shitty snap.
There was one that they had a while back on USA Made Blade that had an S60V steel blade, which I haven't seen available anywhere else. And that, probably 20 years, 15 years. And it was really tempting. It was a good looking knife.
Have a good night. Hey, man.
I really couldn't tell you why I never got one. But I've just never seen it take off like I thought they would. Probably because people are scared to jump on a $400 knife if they've never heard of the company.
That's a great deal, Twang Thang. And it's a good knife. My Biblio actually sharpened up great. It's got super, super strong detent. I don't know if y'all can see my finger dust fly off every time I flick it. But it's a great knife.
I need to be able to let Jeff and John give me reviews on that NAF sale thing.
I've never sold anything on it or bought anything on it.
I've sold one. I might have sold two here by tomorrow.
Well, I'm just saying that because I hate going on there and I ain't got nobody review me.
That's an original. That was for Scotch and Things. Can you see that T-shirt?
Yeah, that's nice.
He's done logged off.
Have you seen Abner's guitars, Jeff? Have I shown you pictures of those?
No, you have. Oh yeah, you have.
The two Doug Irwins?
Yeah. Dude, this knife is 9.5 inches long and barely weighs 4 ounces.
Is it an integral?
It's made like one, but no, it's not. It looks like it is.
Oh, the carbon fiber just.
But that carbon fiber is actually a wrap.
It looks thin too.
It is thin. It's awesome. I can't say.
Are you off tomorrow?
Do what?
Are you off tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll bring this back. Have you seen this?
Only in pictures.
And this one is the 125 one, the Ohio Jack, and the one that I got next that I actually like better, that's made by QSP, is this little guy right here. This is called the Hedgehog, and look at the tip on this.
Looks like you can shave with it.
It's a deep hollow grind where the Ohio's not a hollow grind. See if I can find some paper. I swept it up the other day. Actually, at ease. It is very sharp. I ordered one of those little blowers that they always show you on eBay that supposedly blows air off shit because I've got so much cat hair everywhere. So did you get anything else in this week, A to Z?
No. No, this is it. I don't have anything else coming either.
That was a good snag, though. They are nowhere. I did see two today. I saw two Damasteels left today somewhere. I think at GP. Like 645.
It was not easy to get. I got very lucky. And then, GP knives, man, they ship so fast. I ordered it Wednesday afternoon and got it today.
I used to use GP a lot, and I forgot about them lately.
They're great, and they ship with a little bit of swag, and they're always super, super quick. It doesn't sit in processing for any days. You know, it's just you order it and it's gone.
Like
this is a crazy cool knife.
Where they sit for a week before they ship it to you.
Yeah, I won't name them by name. Edgy American says, A to Z, are you ready to sell me that Spyderco?
Which Spyderco? Never mind. I know which Spyderco. No, I am not ready to sell the Spyderco.
Is he talking about the one with the big bolsters?
Yeah, the Valaton, the sub-hilt. It's the one that looks like Spyderco and Medford had a baby.
Edgy, check your text in a second.
Is that a dual action? Like, was it the Valaton? That was an automatic or a Spidey flick, or did they have a different one? Or am I crazy?
I'm not familiar with an auto version of it.
Maybe I'm crazy then.
They do have a smaller version of it called the Lil.
Thank you, Robert.
What Spyderco I want a Nirvana. I just love. That's another knife that from way back in the day. Like, I just like the look of it. I've never held one. I've never seen one in person.
Ooh. Abner's got a rosebud coming and just found an alligator, so he's got 4. Those are Doug Irwin guitars, like Jerry Garcia played.
That sounds like an expensive hobby.
Well, it's just like our hobby, you know. It's if you break it down, 4 super nice guitars in your collection,
It's all and it
it's all
doesn't.
relative.
It could be cars. It could be Zippo lighters. It could be. I mean, there's something out there for everybody. Someone in baseball cards or whatever it is.
Well, I've always, especially since I've been single, I've had the personality that buys stuff in like bulk. So before COVID, I was into this huge guitar effects, buying amps, buying guitars, and I wasn't playing in a band at the time. I was just kind of loading myself up with shit that I couldn't get when I was playing in bands. And I've got a pedal board that's to die for. But all of a sudden, COVID hit. I quit watching guitar videos. I picked up, I don't know whose was the first, it might have been Slicey Dicey, but something just triggered my frontal lobe with the thought that I needed to start collecting knives. And I totally turned off of guitar effects. I still play guitar every day, but I don't buy stuff for it. Everything goes to knives. All that disposable income, so to speak.
Yeah. That's really too bad he turned out to how, I liked watching his channel. It's too bad he turned out to be kind of a D-bag.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I thought his channel was good too. And what's weird is I was kind of one of those people, because I'd won something off one of his channels, never got it, and thought he just forgot about it and didn't really care that it didn't come. And then when all that shit hit the fan, I forget if it was somebody put out a comment thing saying, hey, if you've ever had a situation, let me know. So I put out just what had happened to me just because I was being transparent. And then about 30 minutes after that, I got an email from Slicey going, hey, I'm just going back through all my notes. Did you happen to get that Patriot that I sent you? And I was like, no, dude, but it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Take care of you. I would have just gifted it anyway. And he said, oh, cool, man. I appreciate that. And I know in hindsight that he was probably just reading those comments and he was kind of putting out the fires that he saw flaring up.
And it's been 2 years this summer. I honestly thought he would have been back, but he is gone.
He could have been back. From what I've heard deeper is there were a lot of manufacturers and a lot of the connections that he had been kind of relying on had been coming to a head around the same time. So there were some issues that weren't just facilitated by when everything blew up. They were already starting to, hey, dude, you weren't supposed to, those weren't your knives, that you sold. And I forgot, was it you, Dark Gravity, or was it Pocket Metal? Somebody was telling me they still see him in his Discord from time to time. I
don't do Discord, so.
Who was it?
I'm over here doing shit in the chat. I ain't even listening to you. Sorry.
Good. Somebody needs to be. I want to make sure the chat's taken care of. I think it might have been Sobek Scooter, who said he still keeps up with them in Discord from time to time, that he'll pop in there.
1 minute knife review. That redhead guy, is that Kyle? Are you talking about Kyle? He disappeared too, man.
Red Wolf. I saw him on Instagram yesterday feeding a giraffe somewhere.
He's posted some food and restaurant pictures and stuff like that, but nothing knife related.
He said, because I was close with Red Wolf. I mean, I was on the first live stream I was on was with him, Knives Live 2 years ago. I was on his channel. And after that, I'd be on lives with him. And I found him an interesting guy. And I like Kyle.
I'm talking to Kyle. He's actually a really nice guy.
He's super nice guy. But he told me he just wanted to kind of take a step back. There was a lot of negativity, with what went on between him and Mike Imler. And I was a witness to all that. And I do think that there was wrong on both sides, but I don't think it was nearly as wrong as it was made out to be. And I look at it very objectively. But because even Red Wolf said, don't go there, because they were having this banner back and forth in the Knives Live chat group. And he was going, don't go there, because when I joke, I don't have a social filter. And Mike kept on, and then Kyle just started dropping bombs that you could say are racist about his wife, because he was basically saying he was holding her hostage, that she probably had Stockholm syndrome, stuff like that. It was funny if you think about it as comedy, especially after you warn somebody, don't go there because you know I don't have a social filter.
Sorry, that was funny. What? Yeah, there's a lot of. See, I'm like on the outside. I think. Shane just said something about everyday minimalist or something. I've only seen a couple of that guy's videos. Not sending people stuff too. Man, maybe that's why I don't do giveaways or anything. I don't want to get any drama.
And in full disclosure, I do giveaways, and I'm the slowest fucking shipper you'll ever meet because I've got 1, 2, 3 plus one going to bod that's different, plus 4 plus whatever's one tonight tomorrow. So I do, because I work and travel from Tuesday to Thursday, that I just don't have time, and I don't use the post office because I don't trust them. I do everything UPS, the UPS store, because they know me there. Kyle backed out because his lives caught up with him. Hey, Shane, I sent you a link. Come on and share about everyday minimalist.
Yeah, I don't want to be like the smack talker, but like I don't know a lot. Like because I'm not in any of these pass around groups or any of these. I'm like I think I kind of feel like I'm this kind of like outsider that just kind of peeks in because I don't know. I mean, I don't know a lot of people, and like this whole thing. There's drama with Kyle, and like people seem to not like Emler. I made a video about him last year. I didn't mention his name though.
Because he's a shill and he asks for money and he beats people up if you don't give him money.
I made that video. I didn't name him. I made a video. It was around Blade Show or something. And dude, I just got. He seems like a nice guy, and I've watched some of his video. I've watched his videos, and I think he probably knows how to sharpen very well. I just got really kind of turned off when there was a GoFundMe for his kid and stuff, and so he could go on vacation to Blade Show, and then so don't like I don't want to be this preachy guy, but don't in every single one of his videos he almost like talks about weed because he wants to be the cool kid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he'll talk about it because it's thinks he's
howdy mate,
and that is like anything else. Like in my thought process, that is what would that be considered, like a luxury item in your life? If you're asking for people to give you money for your child, I don't. Knives, weed, like stuff like that. It just rubbed me wrong, man. Like I was pissed. Don't ask for money if you're buying knives, wanting to go to a vacation, and ask, and so you can have a recreational. Like that'd be like, I need some beer, so why don't you guys give me money? And while you're giving me money, I'm going to buy knives and go on vacation. So sorry. Yeah. Well, I've just heard I've heard people mention him in lots of live streams, and it's almost like validation. But I was just really, and it shouldn't even bother me because I don't know him. I'll never talk to him.
But, well, yeah. Shane's got intimate knowledge of some of his transgressions, and a lot of them were the way he utilizes GoFundMe for things that, when I think of GoFundMe, I think of losing Brother Brown and what we, set up the GoFundMe for Sarah and Nora, his daughter. GoFundMes are for the police officer that was killed here last week, whose mom is actually the digital planner for me down in Tuscaloosa. GoFundMes are not for, in my opinion, for things that aren't just the shit has hit the fucking fan.
Yeah, so I had a little, I'll go on a rant from time to time, and that just, I'm still kind of sour. And it shouldn't, it doesn't affect me at all, but don't ask for money.
It does affect you because even if you're on the outside of the community, you're part of the community. And when people, and that's why I think where Shane gets misunderstood a lot, it's not that he's a HRC Nazi. He's just looking out for the community, wanting people to know what they're getting, and there are people like Super Steel Steve, who I've had dinner with, I've broken bread with. He's a super nice guy. Jeff knows him. but he has a persona that, believe it or not, is beneficial for the community as a whole, but he comes across to a lot of people as crass and argumentative. And he's looking at, when his messages are delivered to makers, he's coming at it from typically fact. And he does make a big production of it. And the reason he's so defensive is because he's always had to be, because he always has people coming at him. And he likes that shit. He's Italian.
Yeah, like
But he's a funny motherfucker. I mean, I'm telling you, we had a good time at Blaze Show with him.
Hey, you're bald too.
Yeah, sorry if that blinded anybody.
Oh,
I got
ought to get old.
I've been doing this since I was 13. I shaved my head even when I could grow hair.
Dude, and I get like he was taught like it was for, I guess his daughter's a ice skater and she's got Olympic hopes. I get it. If you're dead ass broke and you're trying to make, have your daughter have this awesome life. But if you're asking people for money for your daughter, don't be taking a fucking vacation. Don't be buying knives and don't be buying.
This was another one. Look at this comment on the screen. This was another actual different GoFundMe.
My thing with it is, and I know shit happens. It's like I was saying earlier, in 2008, I lost my job and, ended up making shit. But there's so many people in every environment, and Imler is just the epitome of it. And I'm going to get on my little tear like Scotch did. Get your fucking lazy ass up and go to work.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what you tell me is wrong with you. There are jobs today. I mean, I'll pick on John for a second. He works with a fucking computer all day. You can't tell me that that's kicking his ass like me working in a steel mill, because it's not. Yeah, it makes his head hurt, makes his eyes cross, but besides that, there's jobs that you can do. Retrain your fucking self and get a job.
Answer phones, do customer service. There's so many different things you can do from home.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a fucking Google and an Amazon damn phone service thing here that pays good for $20 fucking an hour. That ain't fucking change. You can go work at Google and there's Verizon too, which pays like $20 an hour. That's pretty fucking decent money. To go and sit and answer a phone and tell me that I'm a fucking dumbass because I forgot to push fucking control on my damn computer.
Yeah, Shane just said, look at my $10,000 knife collection. Please give me money. Is it too late after I've said what I spent last year on knives to ask for money?
I mean, that was an honest and awesome video. You driving around thinking about it, you and your dog. The only person you have that conversation with.
Like that, though. And I see that shit not just with Emmer. I see it in other parts of the community, too. And it's like John said, I have no problem whatsoever getting to the GoFundMe for Mr. Brown. And that's what I've always called him, as Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry, Robert, buddy. I love you, man. Have a good night.
And that's just the way, that's what that's for. And I didn't submit my information for the raffle or nothing of that nature because I didn't do it for that. I did it because it's the right thing, because they lost a family member. We lost a family member as a community. And I mean, it was Christmas, and that's when you do stuff for folks. You don't put up a GoFundMe because you're too fucking. If you want to fund your kids ice skating, go to fucking work. My brother wants to fund his damn kids dance fucking competition bullshit, so he works 2 jobs when he's got to.
Yeah, because that's just not cheap. And I get it. You want to give your kids everything, but.
See, man, I'll send you a link, brother.
Well, he don't have to work as hard now. He only works his second job part-time because one of his kids grown out of it. But he still got 2 girls. When he had 3 girls doing those dance competitions, he worked 2 full-time fucking jobs. I mean, he literally worked 80-plus hours a week.
And here's what I wouldn't be doing. Like, I think because I think I don't know Jared. He's liked a couple of my Instagram posts. Well, I was like, woo! Seems like a nice guy, and I think
He is.
Mike. I think he's kind of like, from what I gathered, maybe Mike latched on. I don't know. Like Jared is
That's it, right?
tutored him or whatever. But here's the thing, man. YouTube. You want to be a full-time YouTuber? Fuck off, man. If you can do it, great. But don't. I don't think that's a goal. Like I don't think that's how you start. Like. To quit your job, because I think Mike is trying. He talks about being a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah, and he talks about it incessantly, and he's been doing it for like 12 years. Jared always said that was his goal. He never thought it was a realistic goal. But if you look at the amount of work that Jared himself put into learning everything himself, who couldn't reply to an email.
Yeah,
Jared has a personality to do it.
He looks like a young Richard Gere. He's got actual talent, and he comes across non-threatening. He comes across inviting engagement. He's not fighting with people in the comments.
If you can do it, do it. But I just think, like, I think Mike is around my age. Like, if you've got a family to support and you're around 47 years old, fucking work. Like, don't go chasing other. Like that sounds bad. Don't go chase your dreams. I switched late in life to give my family a better life, and it worked out. But it wasn't like I wouldn't count on something that could be like gone like that. YouTube decides today they don't like you, and now your family's got nothing.
Yeah, or you get demonetized, or all kinds of stuff. Y'all, I'm gonna let y'all chat for a second. I want to check something outside with the wind blowing. I'll be right back.
Hey, Mattis Factor, did you get a hold of Bug Out Bart, buddy? I saw you in the chat. We was talking earlier about something. Well, what's up, guys? How you doing, Dark Gravity?
How's it going, man?
It's going.
Sorry, I keep getting on these little fucking tirades.
Oh, you're good. I do it too, man. I was doing it in the chat earlier.
I'm the same guy. It's like la la la, happy. Give me all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's Steve on a soapbox.
Yeah.
I get going.
I've been broke because of some choices I made at one time. I was homeless.
I've been there too.
It's choices that I made, and I put on my big boy panties and fucking changed. And I chose to do stupid shit and be homeless.
Right.
Well, yep. I chose to do smart shit and be successful.
Yep.
And, and I don't expect any of y'all or anybody else to give me nothing.
Right. I'm the same way, dude. I don't ask nobody for nothing.
It just disgusts me when somebody is sitting there constantly. Well, I do beg my wife for something every now and then.
Well, I mean, there's that, but
other than that, I don't beg
10 minutes.
I just need a second. I just need 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds and I'll be good.
Yeah, I don't want to be negative because I know we're all part of the community. I've just heard lots of things, and that's what I've had people ask me the video was like a year ago now, but every once in a while it's like, who are you talking about? It's like, no, I don't want to be because I'm not, I don't get, like I said, I'm kind of playing on the fringes. I play with my own money. I don't ask companies for stuff. So I'm not in that kind of group, that inner circle. And so it's just kind of like I stay out and just kind of watch stuff. But as you watch a lot of stuff, you hear a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, just kind of, and I don't want to because I met him. Maybe he's a really nice guy, but that just really rubbed me the wrong way.
Right.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you're working the system, and you're calling, Kaiser, you've got a channel and you're calling these, we, and you're calling QSP, and you're like, hey, I got a little bit of a following, hey, can you loan me a knife, do a review, and I'll send it back to you, or if it's okay, I'll use it for a giveaway to try to get bigger. That's working the system, and that's fine. It's the sitting there and begging and constantly talking about how screwed up things are. But like you were saying, Shane, you know, or Steve, but you're sitting there smoking weed.
Yeah. Which
And
I
the
don't
guy
care.
thinks how much
That's
the
fine.
fucking food
Don't
is
ask me
costing.
for money though. Like don't ask me for money.
When you're in California, though, you can get all kind of crazy fucking weed that costs a damn fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it was when I was a kid. And for, you know, $25 or $30, you could get 14 fucking grams. You could get a legit quart. You know, it ain't like that no more. You know, you're paying $100 for fucking joint just about with some of this shit they got nowadays.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna beg me for money? Oh, fuck off.
Well, it's like somebody said in the chat before I hopped on. GoFundMe should be for helping people that didn't even make it for themselves. If you're making it for yourself, then it's automatically questionable to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing when you make it for somebody else, like we did for Jason Brown, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's what John brought up. We had an officer killed in the line of duty a few nights ago, and it was literally the point where in this situation, the mother was throwing the children out the second-story window, and the cops were on the ground catching the babies.
Jeez.
You know, because dude went off and ended up shooting 2 cops. One of them still may not make it. He's in critical condition in the hospital.
Wow.
But it's that type of scenario, and so folks set up a GoFundMe for his family. That's
Right.
what GoFundMe is for. It's
Yeah, that's what it's about.
It's not because you want to sit at home and smoke weed and fantasize and jack off with the idea of having a YouTube channel. It just, I don't get it.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck John's doing. I guess John's looking for a knife to give away. While we're sitting here on tangents about.
We're just.
Well, and it's like growing up, I've always been a really nice dude, and I'll give somebody the shirt off my back if I think they deserve it and they got a good reason to. But fucking don't take advantage of me doing that. You know what I mean? Like, if I catch wind of you taking advantage of me, I'm gonna cut that shit off real quick. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess we need to talk back to talking about knives before everybody runs off.
Everybody's like, these fuckers are talking about
these fucking guys.
We're talking about work boots, but I think we've talked more about knives than Shane does on Sunday nights.
When you brought up the work boots earlier, I actually switched to wearing hiking shoes or boots because they're way more comfortable, but I don't have to wear steel toe like you were saying, so that's the only thing there.
And Keen, did you mention Keen? Was that you or who? They were going so fast I couldn't see.
I wear Merrell's, but I have a buddy that wears Keen. Same idea.
I like them, but like I said, they were all of a sudden, I was sitting there when I first had to buy my first pair. The Keens felt great, the Merrell, but I don't want to tie shoelaces, and I need something with more protection because I need some sort of water resistance protection.
The Merrells I got are waterproof.
Are they?
Yeah.
Fucking
Javon. I was walking through parts of a river the other day in them.
Really?
What the fuck shit is that John's doing? Motherfucker come and creeped into the damn picture and then backed out.
But I've had Danners, I've had Georgias, I haven't had Red Wings or Austins. I haven't tried those. I've had Ariots, and they all held up okay. But like you said, I'd go through them in like a year and they're toast. They're just shredded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's more about like it's more about the comfort than the
right.
I'm gonna get about, and I'm surprised that these have lasted almost 2.5 years now. But
and then I did the Georgia Romeos, whatever the fuck you call those, the slip-on ones, and those tore up my feet. I actually ended up with what's called plantar fasciitis in my right foot, where the heel's always hurting because there's no support to them. So I had to get rid of those fucking things, and that's part of why I went to the hiking boots, because I was trying to get that support back. And then I put good insoles in them, and now my feet are fine, but way more comfortable. Just way more comfortable. But I did like my Danners when I had them.
So like even like those Justins with that Vibram sole, because I think other like companies like Keen and that Vibram is like a hiking type outdoor soft sole. And I was just dying. I'm like, these things, like I said, I used them for like 6-7 years, and something changed, and that it was breaking down inside. And even with that really nice sole, it was killing me. And it's been great. I'm gonna buy another pair. I've had lots of people, like I tried on the Ariats, I tried on the Red Wings, but all right, I know this Timberland is comfortable as shit, and I can stand all day in it, and it held up pretty well. I thought it was gonna tear up really fast.
Right.
It felt like it was like a soft leather, and it's held up really well.
Yeah.
Like you can finally see my toe, and the steel toe it's worn through this. I guess they're not steel toe there; it's a composite toe. But I can see my toes now, and then like the heel is breaking away finally. So it's time to retire them.
Right. I've been interested in trying. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're called Thursday boots. They're not a work boot, but they're like an everyday comfortable boot. But my problem is nobody near me sells them, and I don't want to buy them online because I want to try them on and make sure they fucking fit before I buy them.
Do they have like a 30-day or 90-day like try and guarantee or anything?
Do they?
I don't know.
The only thing with Thursday is they only have one store, and it's in New York.
Okay.
Because I watched a lot of videos.
Yeah.
And a lot of boot videos trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
And the Thursdays, and because they're kind of like a Red Wing style. I mean, they make that red. I mean, they make others. They make that traditional. What do they call it? The mock toe.
Right.
Yeah,
they make others too, but they make like a mock toe.
I'll tell you, if you're wanting something in that neighborhood, and this is just my personal opinion, but I got the white Fulton boot, and I'm sure you've seen pictures of it online. That boot is fucking amazing. It's comfortable out of the box. I mean, it's more durable than a Thursday. It's more durable than a Red Wing. The leather on it is a lot thicker and heavier duty. I'm just, and it's roughly the same price as a Red Wing.
But I was really impressed.
They've got the Perry, which is a crepe sole, mock toe. They got the Fulton, which is an 8-inch with the Vibram honey sole, which is what I've got. And then they've got standard, looks more like a Timberland, the traditional Timberland, but it's a thick, heavy-duty leather, and it's called the Chore Boot, I think is what it's called. All three of them are right around that $300 price point, which is more than a Thursday. But from my experience, you're getting a lot more boot than you are with a Thursday. You're getting more than double the boot of a Thursday.
Okay. And what brand was that?
Whites.
Okay.
It's a company out of Spokane, Washington, and they're made in the USA.
So shit. They're in my state.
That's what I'm saying. You should know who Whites is because it's Pacific Northwest. They're the ones that originated the whole Pacific Northwest boot deal. Where you got like Lynx and JK and Westco and all that, which I think Westco was separate, but you got Frank's boots, Nick's boots, and JK boots are all offshoots of White's boots.
Okay.
But and I mean, don't get me wrong, Nick's and JK and Frank's and Westco are all great boots, but White's offers their production line, which some people like to hate on because White's is owned by a Japanese company now, but I don't give a fuck who owns it because I can own it because I can buy stock in the company that owns JK. I mean, that owns White. So, I own stock in Toyota. Does that mean, I care about who has a job, not who owns the motherfucker.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
Poor John, we were killing his lot. Like, no one's going to tune in next week. They're talking.
Did you see Manufacturing? He's like, this is old people talk. They're talking about boots and comfort and support.
was just he took off and we just sunk it. We just
Geriatrics have to be covered,
Yeah.
man.
I had to get glasses last year. It's horrible.
But no, like I said, like in Timberland, I wear 11.5. In Kings, I wear 11.5. In Merrill, I wear 11.5. In Whites, I wear a 10.5.
Right.
That's the only thing that you need to recognize, mentally is that. And Red Wing, I wear 10.5. And the heritage style, old school boots that don't have all that padding and shit in them, that are just leather, I had to go down a full size.
Yeah, and I've noticed that with boots. If I wear like an 11 in regular tennis shoes, but if I get certain pairs of boots, I go down to like a 9.5 or a 10. It depends on the boot, but yeah.
And so that's, like I bought some Red Wings Tuesday, I think. I bought them Tuesday evening. My wife fucked up and gave me permission. She told me I could get me another pair of boots. And so once she told me that, my ears perked up and I drove straight to the Red Wing store. I knew exactly what I was getting. And, and I walked into the store. I said, I need these right here and a 10.5. But like I said, that's just so you know. And Daniels, I wear an 11.5. I mean, you pretty much name it. Nike, I wear 11.5. Converse, I wear 11.5. But with Red Wing and Whites, I wear 10.5.
See, and that's what kind of started to piss me off with the Justins. I knew, like, starting, this was my size. And then I had my wife pick me up a pair because I was like, I need you to grab me a pair of boots. This is what I want. Vibram sole. This is my size. And there was too much slop. And I had to go back, and I was 2 sizes up. In the 7 pairs I had, I would jump around from a 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5.
Yeah.
Depending on the boot. And that kind of.
Well,
there was a
that
lot.
blew my mind. We have a Western store here in town, and they had a pair of Ariats in black ostrich, and they had them for ridiculously low price. And I knew they were in the size 11 section. And my work boots that I wear are Ariat. They're Rocky right now because they didn't have the Ariat my size when I went and got a new pair. But I've been wearing Ariats for work. And I swear to God, them things were like a 14.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I put them on, and literally I had like 3 inches of it sticking off my foot.
Damn.
Joe,
it's like
your knife channel.
I wear 11.5 in Ariat
Really?
boots, but apparently in Ariat ostrich boots, I wear a size 5.
Y'all throw hashtag capital Z MAN in the chat. We'll collect comments for a while. Only U.S. shipping because it's going to be 2 knives, and I'll show you what they are in a sec.
You gotta do me like that, JuhVon?
What's that?
Said you gotta do me like that?
Well, you joined. I figured I couldn't think of anything right off the top of my head, so I went with something easy. 4 letters.
I mean, at least we're not doing the middle name game.
No, we don't. I think the random StreamYard thing's pretty random. But what I found out about random drawings is the same people can win randomly back to back.
I'll be right back.
Which means, but it works. I've watched it happen at Nas Live, where everybody that wins is within like 100 range.
I've won more on these random StreamYard ones than I have with the numbers game ever. Like,
the numbers game made my head hurt.
Oh.
Did somebody donate memberships? Guys, I'm not seeing all the chats, and I feel terrible about that. I apologize.
Sorry, Mark Herrera. I did want to help Mattis Faction out. Mattis Faction said he's working 2 jobs looking for a side hustle. Tank pictures.
Mattis Faction, you paint pictures and you market them spring, and you will make a killing.
No, taint. He needs to take photos of his taint and sell them.
He needs to paint people's taint. He needs to have people send in their taint from the community, and then he needs to paint them in his Mattis Faction style And then you've got a win. Then you've got something that's marketable. I bought the other night. Well, actually, I missed out on it when the Ford
Actually,
tank.
You remember the women were doing this for a little while. They would paint their butt and their legs and all that kind of stuff, and then sit on like a poster board and give it to their husband.
What?
That's what Satisfaction can do is for side money. Is he can paint all of his undersection.
That's true.
Sit on a poster board.
And then
And
That
sell
sounds
it.
like an Etsy store more. I mean, he could set up a legit Etsy store with that.
It's a legit painting. It's body paint.
So this is gonna blow up the chat because I've done this before. But I was at the bar when I was with a bunch of friends, and we started this thing at the bar where we were putting movie names out there, but we were inserting the word taint in place of one of the words in the movie name. So like Night of the Living Taint, right? And it was the funniest conversation I've ever had at a fucking bar because we just ran around for like an hour naming fucking movies with it. We were busting up laughing, crying, and just, it was hilarious.
That's going to worm brain me because I'm thinking Top Taint, Saturday Night Taint. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't even want to get my brain.
It just starts coming to
I'll
your
be
head, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
But it'll be happening for me in like 11 volume at 3 o'clock in the
James
morning.
and the Giant Taint, you know.
Oh, exactly. Ferris Bueller's Taint Off.
we know what you're doing at like 3 in the morning tonight.
No, usually I sleep in little hour increments. I mean, I'll wake up at 2. I'll be up for an hour.
Yeah, see, they're already going at it in the chat now.
Alone Tank. Jack Taint. Taint Wick. Lone Tank.
That's a good point, Doomsday. I don't know if Satisfaction can paint his backside to sit on the poster board.
Dude, it can degrade into everything here. We talk addiction, we talk all kinds of crazy shit.
But
It's all
any
about having a
taint,
good time.
but any taint is possible, so he might can.
The first rule of Tank Club is no one talks about Tank Club.
As soon as he said taint, that's the first thing I thought of was that night with them at the bar, man. That was funny.
You gotta pay for that shit somehow.
E.T. the extra tank. That's good, JN. Howdy, JN, Juggling Ninja, my brother from another mother. Air
What's up,
tank.
Ninja? I found this little
I
guy at
don't
Lowe's
know
today.
what it's Terry, but Google is all I can tell you.
It's a Right in the Rain mechanical pencil, but it's like 1.3 millimeter lead. It's super thick for like doing construction stuff. So I snagged that up because I thought it was interesting. Give it a try at work.
Is the lead any different composite, or is it just thicker so it writes on the right
It's just
rain paper?
it's just
grid?
thicker, and it's supposed to write in the rain and all that. Of course, because it's made by Right in the Rain. I don't know. I should look at the package closer before I opened it, but I'm sure there was probably more details on there.
God,
That's a winner, Michael Morgan.
But
Dabble with lead.
who was talking about pencils the other day? I was watching.
well, because I always use like a carpenter pencil at work, but I thought I'd give this a try. You know.
Yeah. Was it Sharif talking about pencils and pens? Maybe was he on with Lefty?
He was.
He was.
Thursday night, I think he was.
then-
It must have
I
been
always
talking
have
about
my
pencils and pens or
my
something. right?
refined pen too, but
Yeah, I've got a refine, a tactile turn, and a Tucson pen.
Ooh, that's a
Guys.
thing. I've got 2 sagas. I'm good.
Keep throwing these comments. Let me share this again because I'm leaving it up. But keep throwing your Z-Man comment in there. We got 34 entries now, and I'll show you guys what we're going to be giving away.
one flew over the taint nest.
And one of them's kind of a they still sell them, but this one is probably 12 years old. It is a
The hell is
CRKT
that?
Kiss. Have you ever seen a CRKT Kiss? Chisel
Was that
grind.
blade? Was that blade
Partially.
flat out open on the opposite side?
Yep, but it's chisel grind, so when it's open,
Oh, okay. I see.
so you
Huh.
just sharpen the front end if you sharpen it, and then you just flat sharpen the back. But that's just one of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting knife, and it's one that, again, I've had in my collection for before I started collecting again. But it's a good knife. And then the other one is going to be this Kube. which is one of my favorite Cubes in terms of action. It looks a little weird with the blade to handle. I don't know which number it is,
I could find diamonds.
but it's
Cool.
a front flipper.
I'm finding a diamond.
Is somebody ordering something? Who the fuck right here talking?
Why did
Not me.
Oh, I think Z-Man's getting in trouble.
I hear it.
I think Z-Man's getting in trouble.
No, not in trouble. That was my little guy was talking to me something about Minecraft. He wanted to tell me. He was excited.
I know my son does the same thing.
He's 6, so he gets all dad, you know.
And you have no idea what he's talking about.
Vaguely. I played Minecraft back when it first came out, but it's evolved a lot since then. So
And it's like my kids played it. And now I don't understand it. That's one game I can't. I'm like, what? You got a herd of cats? I don't get what's going on.
yeah.
See, my son plays Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption.
We talked about Red Dead last week, didn't we? Was that last?
Mm-hmm.
My wife was pretty impressed when my young daughter play that.
But Tina Turner's
Yeah.
got the win.
Tank ain't it?
I'm gonna allude to something, but I'm not gonna give you all the details. But if you all watch JB's Saturday Night Live tomorrow, which is at 2 p.m., it's an early one. There's gonna be a surprise. That's all I'm gonna say because I'm not supposed to be talking about it at all.
But it's at 2 p.m. I'm glad you said that. I would have gotten a notification, but it's good to know
I'll
that.
I'll just say somebody else is up to some shenanigans and I know about it. So
Oh, wait, some more drama? Some drama or some fun stuff?
no fun stuff. It'll be a fun surprise. JB has no idea it's gonna happen. So
Oh,
Lord of the Tanks.
I think Satisfaction might have come up with a good one, but Drewby was right above him with his killer. The Great Taint Robbery. We can just descend into rabbit holes. No wonder why we fall into these weird buying patterns, because we're all just conflicted. Speaking of budget,
I knew it was gonna blow up the chat. I knew it was.
wow.
that's a must-get knife. The Volsteed Nightshade.
I would have never said a word about tanks if I would have known this was going to happen.
You started it, Dark Gravity. You did it on purpose. You told me earlier that was your goal, to degrade the conversation from knife chat to Maddie's tank chat.
From work clothes to boots to just taints.
But I can see the EDC roundtable Hanks with his different color patterns, because like each month he could do a different like color that he sits in before he sits on the platter or the canvas, and we could have those in Hanks. We could have them as coffee mugs. I mean,
The Tank
this thing
Strike
could blow
Back.
up.
Revenge of the Tank.
Oh man, there's so many good ones when you just start thinking about it too. That's what's so funny about it.
And you know how they have pop-up stores for those companies like Fucked and other things that sell T-shirts, and they have these social media-driven pop-up stores where these people buy goods and sell out in like 5 minutes and make a shitload. We could have pop-up tanks to where, you know, every now and then a city, a new tank pop-up tank shows up where you can get a legit Satisfaction tank print, and you don't know till like 5 minutes before.
Oh my God, Michael Morgan, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pain. Oh, that's a good one.
Tank Buster.
I mean, we just start talking about like butt stuff. I mean, this could be just like, you know, Edgy's Sunday night. Start talking about doctors. You know,
Tank back.
doctor might have touched me, or it was just
If
some
nothing else, we've given people a good laugh. So
Let's see how many comments we've got. We've still only got 36 comments. How many people we got in here? 59, guys.
I was gonna say, you need to change the fucking hashtag to tank.
It's got to be tank.
I'd have to start collecting all again. Had I known we'd have gone this route, see, that's the whole thing about live streams. You don't know which direction it's going to go in, but I would have definitely chosen taint. The Outlaw Josie Tank.
You've been shanked.
and this is the product of the conversations I have with my friends at the bar.
Yeah, but we ain't even at the bar.
I know, right?
That's hilarious. So back, Scooter's back. God, what's that? I'm thinking of one that I watched when I was like 4. And it's not this one, but this is similar. It's one that couldn't be shown today. It had Uncle Remus in it, Brer Rabbit. Do you remember that?
I know the movie you're talking about.
Zippity
Song
doo
of the
dah,
South.
zippity a, my oh my, what a wonderful day.
It's called Song of the South.
I got it.
Inception.
The Wizard of Tank.
Yeah,
Where
that's
did
cute.
Song-
We're so childish.
Where did Song of the South come from?
It was just brained into my head. I don't know why.
Song of the Tank.
Yeah, Song of the Tank. The Sound of the
Willy
Tank.
Wonka in the Tank Factory.
Chicago 23.
William Tank's Excellent Adventure. What up, Scott? Lurking.
See, this is another series of knives that makes me just fucking happy whenever I pick them up, is the QSP Penguins. And they're not very expensive, but I fucking love them.
That's what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter the
Yeah.
cost as long as it makes you happy, and that's all that matters.
And I have
Michael Morgan, that's classic.
all 3 sizes in the exclusive jig tie from Traditional Pocket Knives, thanks to Mr. Big Red EDC, because he gifted me all freaking 3 of them without me knowing. We went to hang out one day, and he's like, "Here, these are for you," and I was like, "What?"
That is awesome, Mark Herrera.
I've got the jig
I've never
titanium.
seen,
I need to give it away and sell it.
Have y'all ever seen a Benchmade 975 CQ-C7 Spec War chisel grind?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I had one and
Did you
lost
have
it.
one?
Yeah, I had one back in the 90s and lost it.
Did you lose it in the field, or did you lose it?
I just lost it because I was drinking too much and acting like a dumbass. It's probably in the couch I had at the time, knowing me back then. You know, probably slid in between the cushions and shit, and I just never found it.
I've had that happen. I've got a vape that's somewhere missing.
It's probably in the couch cushions.
I looked, and I've done it before and looked and then found it. I think it might have fallen under the couch or something. I've got to look for it. So we're at 40 entries. You guys get in there. I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes.
What are
Then
you
we're gonna find a
selling
winner.
or something?
And then it says Kubi. I forget which one it is, but guys, it is a great Kubi. It's slicey.
Where did you bring up the CQC7 come from, John?
I just got a Instagram message from. See, I gone brain dead. I'm going back up to find it.
It's probably because I said something about that's where I started carrying modern knives as we know them, and it's like right at a 3.5 inch blade, and that's what I've carried ever since.
Gotcha. That's probably what sparked it.
And so I've
It'll
looked.
turn up, Scotty.
I went and looked back at buying them because you can find them for sale every now and then, and they're usually I think right around $180 to $200 or something like that. But to look at the difference in, early 90s knife technology and modern knife technology, it's just like night and day difference. I mean, the pivot screw is tiny. The liner to lock is a really thin liner, or at least that's what it looks like in pictures. It's not as badass as I remember it being. Not for the time, it was a great knife, but if I was
Cool still
buying
here?
one now, I would get a Emerson.
Ooh, good. Kyle's still here. We talked last week when we talked on Instagram. I'm gonna send you. I kind of stropped the ones I was talking about. I'm gonna send you a knife this week. Not this one. This is an SNG. I'm gonna send you my monkey edge that I've just dulled the edge, cutting plastic straps with. And he, like Kyle, talks way over my head. He's like angles and this and that. And I'm just like, I just want sharp. Like this is that SNG that Sean did for me. Like it's just stupid sharp. I want it sharp. I want the edge to be sharp, but I also want it to be like be able to hold the edge. Does that make sense? Like it's 3V, but I want it to be sharp and cut and still be 3V tough.
Well, career, send it over, Tad. And he can do that. He can do that, Scotch. All you need to do is basically tell him kind of what you just said. Like Kyle just said, he's got you. I mean, that's the information that he needs to kind of figure out, keep it kind of between maybe the factory grind and a real good.
He's asked me about ankles, and I was just like, sharp. So far over my head.
I'm too busy reading the damn chat, laughing at their fucking taint things.
All right, guys, I'm going to give it like 10 more seconds. Y'all throw in Z-Man. We got 42 entries, and we've got 55 watching.
I'm going to Z-Man for Emler.
Oh, yeah. I need to do that.
Or no, I need the Z-Man for Slicey Dicey.
Journey to the center of the taint.
I know we talked a
lot.
One
flew over the cuckoo's tank.
What was anybody watch? Like I've just recently found, and that's how many knife channels there are. Like Sharif, it was like literally like 2 weeks ago that YouTube suggested one of his videos, and then they were Cole, and I catch his lives every once in a while. Not a huge, like I don't, it's not one I try to like, because they happen at weird times, but Shane said that he was bashing on his knives. And then Sharif just happened to be in the chat.
I watched that. I was there for that. And then he said, I don't know if y'all heard Cole's faux pas this past Sunday or this past Sunday. He was like, well, if you sent me one or two, maybe I could talk good about them.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to start shit, but come on, you got to laugh at funny shit. That's just funny.
That's hilarious shit, dude. That's a Freudian slip because I bought a knife today. I was telling Dark Gravity just kind of for the channel because, A, it became available, and I don't think I've seen it available in this configuration before, and I've heard stuff about it, and it's kind of a budget knife. But to me, it's just kind of an investment in content, right? I can get 3 videos out of it, and it's a cool knife. It might be one that I'll keep in my collection, or I can gift it on. But, yeah, I'd feel bad with people sending me stuff to check out. I mean, with Dark Gravity and with A to Z EDC, who was in here earlier, there are going to be some times, I know with A to Z, he came by last week when I was out picking up Grateful Panic. He was going to drop off a couple of bangers that I was just going to do an overview of and put his Instagram, maybe even call it A to Z's collection, because I don't want to be in a position where, and I don't answer those emails, where I'm getting things to try out to then review and be in a position like Lefty was. I don't know if y'all caught him last night, but he got fired by his first.
I missed the first part. What?
The first part was the deadlock. You didn't see about that?
Oh, I heard. I think Shane asked later on what happened to it, and he kind of explained. But
the deadlock got destroyed. That was the main part. But then halfway through the live, he said, oh, yeah, and I got fired by Big Idea Design Company. And Big Idea Design Company makes the tie bar and a bunch of other stuff. And lefties always love their stuff, but they sent him a knife a couple of weeks ago, this pirate knife or something, and lefty shit all over it. And they sent him an email, which he read last night because he was kind of butthurt. But because of the negative review, they could no longer associate with it. But every other review he's done's been good. So to me, that makes me think Big Idea Design Company is full of shit.
Is that the Taylor Martin guy?
No,
Is that his company?
no, he's
No.
He's a big shield for Big Idea Design.
Yeah, he's been sponsored by them for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, he like every one of his videos just about is sponsored by Big Idea Design.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I thought that.
That's where I quit.
And he'll
liking
never
him.
say anything bad about him, where Lefty felt
Thing
like he
I-
could say anything. Yeah, and the pirate knife isn't even available to buy. That's right, Donora.
Like, I don't like talking shit, but that's another, like, I'll watch him from time to time, but it's like, he's one that's like, dude, are you more? And I get it. He's built this culture, he's built this monster.
But
Who,
then
Taylor
why?
Martin?
Yeah. I just,
See,
And then why is it he has to do it all day?
I still follow him, and it's only because he's how I found the community to begin with, was Taylor Martin.
Yeah.
He's how I went down the rabbit hole. That's what got me
yeah, and
in this crap.
but the longer, like, I've been watching him for years. It's just like, now it's just kind of almost cringy, and it's like, I don't know. It's
Well, and what gets me now is like he'll talk about stuff, but he's not even up to date on like the new shit coming out anymore. He's so behind. Like, I'm like, dude, you're missing out on all kinds of cool shit out there that you're not even talking about. Like, I don't think you're doing what you meant to do when you started anymore. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think he's gotten so big, and it's obviously his full-time job to where that it consumes you, and you don't
Right.
like. I don't know.
Hey, Dark Gravity, Mark sent you that picture. He said check your IG. But if you're on your phone, you might not be able to.
I have to check it out.
I loved his original concept of like curating shit and bringing it to where people could see it because they didn't know about it, but now they know about it because they saw it on the show. I love that original idea of his, but he doesn't really do that much anymore, you know? It's kind of like...
Like, I hate to say this, like, I see him, like, as I'm like, oh, hey, look at this expensive knife, but it's almost like, and he talks about, it's almost like, it just feels flashy, or look what I have, or it just seems from when he started.
Right. Yeah, it's shifted a lot since he started, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
2001 and Taint Odyssey. That's awesome, Pat. The Dark Taint Rises. Y'all are still just going. All right, I'm going to draw. Y'all keep your eye out for your name. I'm going to count backwards from 10, 9, 8, 7. 6,
I remember when he was a small
4,
channel,
2,
you know, 2000, and he loved the shit. That's how I first learned of Brass Brigade.
Right.
Jason Grant, because Jason Grant was really active.
Chicago 23 wins again.
I love me some Jordans, man. I love me some Jordans.
Congratulations, brother.
He
Send
got
me
to the
your
point
email, but
where
I think
he
I've
was
got it at the UPS store unless you've moved.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think God, I was just going to say something.
It was all sponsored content, and then he got to where he was tired of that, and he started whining about it and complaining about it. And I'm like, dude, you go 5 fucking vacations a year, 6 vacations a year, a week at a time, and you got people giving you money that your only fucking job is to put out a 30-minute book report once a week.
Right.
And you fucking complaining, talking about how it takes you 60 hours a week to make a 30-minute fucking video about weekly fucking pocket dumps.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, I get it though, because it takes a lot of time to hunt through those fucking pocket dumps, because he's got God knows how many people submitting. You know what I mean? Like, I get it to a point. Like, it'd be exhausting doing it week after week after week after week, trying to look through all those fucking...
Then do something different. Don't bitch about it.
Right.
I mean,
don't bitch about when you're making enough to go on 5 trip vacations a year to the
and have a
beach,
pimped out Jeep.
and stay in a hotel, and have a fucking Ford Excursion fucking rebuilt and fucking pimped out. You know,
Dude, I
keep breaking down on them.
I've wanted an excursion for years. Like, I've wanted an excursion.
I'd be like Elon Musk whining that fucking Tesla's too successful. Shut the fuck up.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
And that's what kind of turned me off at a point, was the whining. I was like, why are you bitching, dude? Like, what are you...
I watched that where he wanted to change his name channel because it said damn in there or something, because he had gotten too big. I don't know. I'm just
I would love to live a life Taylor Martin's living. Like, that'd be sick.
the people I work with that complain, I tell them the same thing. There's the fucking door.
Yeah.
You're making more money. You're in the top fucking 3% of income earners in the country, and you're complaining because what?
Yep.
Because you're not a 2%er? You're not a 1%er? I mean, come on.
Well, it's like I've always said, I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. You know, like.
Well, I mean, and when you are successful, don't complain.
Exactly.
I mean, that gives all the other people out there that hate successful people the ability to complain about you even more.
Right.
You know,
Lift each other up.
I mean, look at Chicago 23. That motherfucker wins knives like it's nobody's business. He ain't bitch.
Let's be honest. He's probably a bot. He's probably the guy that gets all the drops.
I was gonna say he's a bot. He's a knife YouTube fucking bot then because he's in every damn live.
Well, you know what's funny? So, like, because, like, dude, you're lucky I can log into this and, like, figure out how to get on here. Yeah, you're lucky to see me.
I am lucky to see you, dude. I enjoy your company. That's why I always send you a link.
No, because everybody always, like, a drop, like, some, you know, be it Oz or whatever, and everybody's like, it's the bots got it. So my buddy, he's an IT guy, and I'm like, dude, can you make me a bot? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, seriously, that's a real thing? So,
yeah,
I mean,
they're real.
Oh, so people actually can do, like, it's not just, it's just like someone smarter than me can actually make this bot if they've got like an IT background and get these stupid fucking knife drops.
Well,
So,
that, and I don't know how.
Weird.
I don't know how.
Dude, that's scary.
Monkey's Edge always talks about that. You know, that there's some way they can scan your order to see if you're a bot or not. And I know that I still missed it because I was at fucking work. But if you ever sign up for their news thing when they do drops, like you'll have a drop of Strider, like when they drop the Strider SMG, they ended up with like 20 knives that were bots, and they sent an email out that, you know, we got 20 more that are available because it was bullshit orders, you know, and that's about the way they put the email. Hey, we got 20 knives we're putting back up, you know, because it was bullshit fake orders, and you know, so there's more available, but there's supposedly some way to take it.
Whenever I know they may have done another one, but it was right before I went on my golf, so it was like right at the end of January. They were doing a SNG Monkey Edge drop, and it was on a Friday. Was it Friday? I think they do theirs on Fridays, but it was like my daughters were going to get their learner's permit, and I'm like,
still going.
So we get through, and then we get out into my truck, and I'm like, you know, like my internet works barely in my house in this small town, and we're sitting in my truck, and they're like, it's like 3 minutes until the time, and they're like, can we go home? I'm like, no, we are not moving. We are not moving. And I'm like, and I got one in my cart, and then it was like the internet was working pretty good. And then it went pay, like, and then just the whole world shut down. Like, I'm like, no. Go home now. We can go home now.
It's so defeating feeling.
$800 on eBay 30 minutes later.
Oh, no. Yes, we can go home now.
Knives had them for $800 3 minutes later.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm glad. You know, like, are you guys, I mean, like, the Facebook groups always talk about, like, price policing and this. And they've been, you know, every once in a while, like they say don't do it, but someone steps way out of bounds. And then someone will be like, you know, they'll smack them back into reality. And then there's the whole, don't talk about price policing. And we talked about, like, for some reason, SNGs were like a Monkey Edge knife was always going to be, if you didn't get it from them, it was going to be $800 on the aftermarket. And then for some reason, they crept up to like $1,000. And I don't know why.
They're like 11 and 12, I've seen some of them.
They've started to come down. I got mine for $8, so they come back down to reality. And then this guy, and there's a guy, he's in a bunch of different groups, and he's always pricing shit high. And me and my buddy talk about it. It's like, hey, you see what so and so is pricing it? So brand new, they're asking $850 for one, and he puts one up, and it's just beat the shit, and he wants $1,100, and they just start dogpiling on him. They're like, hey, does this come with it? Does this come with it? He's like, it's supply and demand, and they're like, well, it's $800 over here. Why do you want $1,100 for it?
What's
So
special about it?
My
Yeah.
only issue with that is there's people that specifically go on there, like Arizona, E-Knives, and I like the guy at E-Knives. He seems like a really great guy. Coco seems great.
I like his wife.
Yeah. I've been using e-knives for years. I'm a little upset though that they've gotten bigger. They start going to shows, and now any of these big time knives, they've really jacked the fucking prices up.
Yeah, they were $278 for the Microtech ram locks because I saw it with the receipt posted at Texas Blade, and they're selling them for $550, something like that.
So on any kind of hype knife, any kind of like stride, like they'll go to shows and buy Striders, and they're doing the same thing. Like they had a performance, a black. I think they were like they wanted $1,500 or $1,600 for it, when I think it's like $7 something, brand new, and then the guys are selling them for $1,000 or $1,100 on the secondary, and they're asking. I get it; they had to buy their plane ticket. So did everybody else, their hotel. But it's like that with everything. They're big with Microtech and Marfione Customs. They always have. But I was just like, I've always had an itch for a Marfione Custom. I think they're obnoxiously priced though. But NC Blade had
They don't make them.
the Warhound for this price. You know, they had one, and then E-Knives had it for like $200 more. It's like, it's the same fucking knife.
The only thing Morpheon does on those knives is he polishes the blade.
That's why I won't buy. I mean, they're obscenely priced for what custom, when it's a hand polished blade, and the rest is machine made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all machine made except for he takes it and holds it on a buffing wheel.
So I just noticed E-Knives like on stuff like that. It's like, it hurts me, man. You were my guys. You sent me a Band-Aid and some candy with my order.
And a real nice note to make me feel, and they live right by me. I mean, their shop's an hour away in Hickson.
So I get it. Like, they're spending the money. They're going to the shows. They got to pay for their hotel, and they're buying these knives, and they're trucking them back or sending them back.
Later, Juvie Tune.
They have overhead. But
yeah, I get it. It just kind of
what I
hurts.
was thinking is they go to the show because they go to a show. I show up with my money. Well, they get a dealer pass
and can get in early and buy them.
And get in before the show even starts and buy the Striders, buy the Demcos, buy the whoever, and I don't even get to see them, but I paid to come to the show, got money in my hand to buy it. I get to the table and it's gone. There's none there because a business, but if I go online, I can already see.
Knife Center's big on doing that. I'll be right. You can't see me.
I can go online and see the fucking pictures where this knife dealer or that knife dealer is already selling them, and the show just started 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
that's
we
where
saw
you
that
get
when we were in Atlanta.
That's where you get the bad taste in your mouth from the community. What do you do? Kick Z-Man out?
No, I think Z-Man just dropped. He'll come back. We're going to be dropping off here in a couple minutes anyway. We're almost at 3 hours. Used up our slot.
I hear you. But, I mean, that's where I get a bad taste is the companies that do shit like that. And the fact that the shows allow it. I mean...
Yeah, it's and that's the same thing that we saw Patina at the Nashville Custom Knife Show. We went on Saturday morning, and Andrew Demko sitting at his booth with a bunch of fucking stickers because he sold them all on Friday, which to me was just kind of a fail.
And then talking to the people at the show, he sold them all on Friday.
Love you, Pat.
And most of them to one guy.
The Demcos?
Yeah.
Dude, I really wanted a dem. Like I've got one now, but I paid out the ass for it, and that hurts when I know it's like a $500 or $600 knife.
Yep.
So back to we were talking about Oz earlier. That's one thing I'll give him. I think he's done one show, and I don't think or one or two shows, and he got kind of pissed off because I think it was Knife Center got called out because Knife Center would buy him, and so what? Or on Oz, they've gotten more expensive. Now they're getting fancier. He's hired some people, so I think I'll check the lottos every week, and I think his prices are like $600-$700 depending on the thing you get, what style you get. But and so everybody kind of knew it was going to be like $1,000 to $1,500, right, for secondary pricing, depending on how fancy the knife was. And then Knife Center goes, and they get their people in line and buy a bunch of them, and they're selling them for like $2,200. And some people let him know that, and he addressed it, and he was kind of pissed off. And then I think he didn't let it was that early access, like you were talking about, where dealers could get in. So, I mean, and I don't know why are you letting dealers in? This is a show for the fans, right? It's not like a trade show.
No, that's what SHOT Show and things like that are for.
Yeah, that's what SHOT Show's for. So he stopped that, and I don't think he's done another show, and I think he's starting his own thing.
There we go. Damn internet.
I don't know. Like I said, that's where, that's one of the things that makes it hard, to spend the money it takes to go to Blade Show.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the type that I'm not going to sleep in my fucking car like John's talking about. I'm going to get a hotel. Well, if I'm going to pay for $400 or $500 for a hotel for the weekend, and then have money on top of that to buy knives, I mean, if I'm going to, have a $2,000 weekend just for the number, then I'd like to at least have, if I don't get the knife I want it because one of you guys got it, not because some fuckers got it and putting it on their damn store for sale.
Yeah. See, and that's
they need to make arrangements with the knife maker. If they want to sell Oz Roosevelts at their store, they need to make, if he's willing to do it, they need to make, deals with him to be a dealer.
Mark, I bought one from them and bought my second one today. I like them too.
That's the kind of shit that it's like, it just piss you off when you go to the damn show, because like I said, you're sitting there 15, 20 minutes after the damn show starts and you already seeing the shit posted on their damn.
Yeah, like something like that. I paid secondary pricing for it, but it's like, all right, what's it going to cost me to fly, hotel, food for the weekend? Factor that in.
And that you'll buy other knives too. You wouldn't be able to resist. So
it's been nothing but paint for like.
That's for you to buy where you. And
I just keep adding to it.
You bought that Strider second hand makes sense because it's a Strider custom. You're only going to get them at the show.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I bought it from Monkey Edge. So I paid. So
you're only going to get them at a show or on the secondary.
Yeah.
One of the two. And you living in the middle of this country where all the shows are a flight away, plus a hotel, plus the fee to get in, plus the, like you said, you got out better than you would if you would have went to Atlanta to get one, or to Texas to get one. Of course, I don't know right off what the secondary price is of, that knife. I'm guessing around $2,000, but or a little more. I mean, I hadn't looked at one in a while, so I'm just saying, but you spend $2,000 table price.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you go and you spend, a few $100s to fly. Like I said, $500 or $600 for a hotel for the weekend. Another few $100s for food.
Buy more than one knife.
You've easily spent $3,000 for the knife. So,
you had said something about Arizona custom knives. Like I've never bought from them, my buddy, he's like when he's looking for something like full on research, and he noticed something we were talking about the other day. Like, I don't know what knife he was looking, but I guess because I don't really spend much time on there because I know they jack their prices up. But I guess they list kind of like a MLS listing for a house, like the date the knife was listed.
Yep.
And he was watching something, and they've changed dates on knives he's been watching to make it look like it just showed up. So if the knife has sat there for a while,
Yeah.
they'll change it so it makes it look like the knife just showed back up. They'll pull the listing, put a new list. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, they do the same thing with MLS.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's just easier to do it with a knife store than it is on MLS.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed that years ago. But the thing about Arizona custom knives is you can some of it. Yeah, the prices are jacked up. Your super hot knives like Hinderers and Striders and things of that nature, you're going to pay, well, like a basic, like I don't have it out here with me, but like my Strider SMG is a basic gunner grip, Tiger Stripe, S30.
$800-900 for it.
Right. He sells them. They sell them for $9, and the price at the drop I got mine from was $495.
Yeah.
Plus, I think I paid like $15 for shipping.
For shipping. Yeah.
I think that's what it was. It was, but so like with a Hinderer, they're $425. He sells them for like $625 or $650 or something like that. But yeah, height knife he sells jacked up. But I mean, there's a lot of knives that you can get on there at what I would consider the fair market value. Like I bought a Leon Mile field divvy that I sold to A to Z, and I bought it for the list price. I bought it for $450, and that's what I sold it to A to Z for. And that was the going price. I mean, that's what you bought the field divvy from Leon Mile for, was $450. The full size carbon fiber and all that.
Do you guys do a lot of buying and selling on Facebook? Where's that knife at?
I don't really sell my knives, so I can't.
Yeah, I haven't sold a lot either.
I'm an idiot.
I still don't make it past Jeff and John.
I'm a buy, like you said, I'm a buy, sell, and trade junkie, but it's like always, and you put no trades, and you get these, I put the Shiro F95 up, and I put wear marks or carry marks because I've carried it. I've cut with it. It's still in pristine condition. I've noticed. So then the guy was like, well, I need to see pictures of the carry marks, and I had to look, and there's like just two tiny little specks. Like, you could tell it's been carried. So, and it's a $900 some knife. I priced it at $750. He's like, trades? I'm like, I'm more looking to sell, but I said, depends what you got. They always want to trade you. And it's like, he sends me a Leon Mall. I'm like, I don't want, like, that's not, like, don't send me garbage. Like, not garbage, no, it's garbage, but like, we're like over half, like, it's $300. We're talking $300 to like $700, like, this and that, and then like a Spyderco. I'm like, come on, let's get real. I'm not trading a $700 knife for a $200 knife. It's
So
not,
I
don't need a PM2,
That I get what you're saying. When you post a $1,000 knife, they want to do a combo trade.
Yes.
They will send you 5 $200 knives for your $1,000. It's like, no, don't fucking do
There's nothing wrong. I love my PM2, the Tanto, but I'm not going to give what was a $1,000 knife.
That's the Tonto, but I was trying to show the scales. Just doesn't want to pick it up.
Is that the typograph?
It's Topo, but it's like bronze on the silver. It's freaking cool looking, but the light doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I get a little of it.
There we go. That's a little bit.
See, and that pisses me off. Like, why isn't Spyderco? I know it's like a Blade HQ exclusive for the Tonto.
This was like my first grill because I missed the first like 3 drop, and I was so pissed.
The M4.
This is just the regular S30, S35, I think.
That's what I think. It's S30.
I got
S30, yeah, S30.
Dude, but here's the thing, like,
I wanted the M4, but I missed it.
They would sell 1 billion of those. Why isn't that like an everyday offering from them?
Right.
Is it?
Dude, the first time I saw that blade, it was like, I need that knife. That was one of the first
Yeah.
knives I ever saw that I was like, I want that.
I want a pair of 3 with that, with a Tanto gun.
Right.
Like, and it's still but Spyderco is really good at giving. I think they do a pretty good job at giving the customers what they want. Right? They do.
I don't mind the sprint runs. What bothers me is the fuckers that get on and buy like 12 of them and then turn around and flip them on eBay for like double the price. That's bullshit. Like,
eBay.
Leave it on the site so I can buy it, fucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I complete flippers. I can't stand. Like, all right, all those knives I bought last year, I made money on two of them. Maybe I sold.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a money-losing proposition I'm playing. You know, you try and be a nice guy, you know. I bought the Evo 3.0 from a guy for $700 some. I had it a week and sold it. And the guy was like, "Oh, I don't have this much." And I'd done a deal with him before. I'm like, "Oh, sure, it's Christmas. I'll sell it to you for $650. I'll take a $100 hit because I'm a nice guy. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot."
Well, you're a nice guy. I mean, because again, $100 to you means $100, but to them it might have been more, and you did something kind for somebody, and somebody who you hope will appreciate the knife. I'd rather sell a knife to somebody I know for less, knowing they'll enjoy it, than sell it to a stranger for twice what I paid for it.
Yeah, and that's well, and for me, I never got into this thinking I was going to make any money back on any of my knives. I've never had that expectation ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can definitely sell them and make money back, but it's not going to be what I paid for it. Like,
what did I make money on this year? My Oz, but I had it for 2 years. I got it on a lotto way back. It was a low number too, and that's another one. I should have kept it, but I wasn't carrying it, and I knew the market was going to start coming down. I'm like, fuck, I've lost a lot of money on knives this year. I'm going to capitalize. I've had this thing for 2 years. And I still only sold it for like $1,100. It was a one-off, and
I've given
stuff like that. I wish there's so many things
a bunch of knives away.
Yeah, I like giving them away, but like I've traded guns back in the day and regret that.
Well,
guys,
usually
I've got to get to the border before said faction to pick up my Friday night Mexican pizzas, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. After 3 hours, y'all got anything to part words, Z-Man?
Nah, man, just everybody hang in there, keep living life. If y'all ever have any problems, we're a community, just hit us up. We'll talk to you, try to help you. I know we all feel that way, so.
Absolutely.
Invite me out, we'll just talk shit. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I love having you here.
This is my therapy, man.
I'm sorry,
why I come on this stuff.
I don't know you. Sorry for talking shit tonight.
They literally talked about fucking tanks for an hour in this chat.
They're still going strong. Bed knobs and tank sticks. Look at that one from Maddie.
Collateral tank.
Pinocchio and the Splinter tank.
You ruined. I think it's going to carry on to all. I mean, you got to.
But now we got to see if it carries on to said faction live in a little while.
You almost
it will, because I'm going to be in there and I'm going to start it.
Oh.
So guys,
he was in this.
let me find said faction, because I know they start now at 12 my time.
Well, I'm hoping
on Sunday.
It's on tonight.
I'm hoping Maddie will send me a link, because he was asking me questions on Instagram today about pouches and stuff, so I wanted to show him some of my pouches on video so he gets a better feel for what I was talking about. Send him some pictures, but I wanted to.
Maddie, are you on your channel or Stevie's channel tonight? So I'll make sure everybody finds it. I know everybody will get notified. Thank you, Luke 10 Tex. Sorry I had to disappear and go cover my busted window as the wind blew in.
Oh, is that what we were doing?
Matter of fact, that's what I was doing when I disappeared. I was out there battening down the hatches. Stevie's channel. All right, guys. Said Stevie at 12 o'clock Central Time, which is, what's that your time? 10 o'clock your time, Z-Man?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Guys, I'm so thankful that y'all come and hang out with me during the live. Chicago, I will get your knives out tomorrow when I send these others out, and I'll get everybody tracking numbers. I appreciate y'all's patience. I love that you guys join me in the in the panel there. And the thing I want to say is look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to the right. Remember, we're a community, even though we don't always get along. We have the same things in common. So keep loving your heart. Move forward with
Yep.
debate instead of hate. I love y'all.